The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Longtime NFL analyst Brian Baldinger had some harsh criticism for New York Jets head coach Aaron Glenn. Wait till you hear what he said. Plus, the Jets are in London. The latest from Aaron Glenn. Nick Shine will join us. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's go Yankees. Let's hit it and get it started.
The practices have been damn good. They are, but
the 2025 New York Jets season is officially here. Can Aaron Glenn lead the team back to the playoffs and finally deliver on the promise this roster has shown? Every step of the journey, the Jake Asman Show will have you covered, breaking down all the storylines, every game, and everything in between. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chats, baby. Cut the line. The Jake Asman Show starts right now. Here we go, here on a Wednesday. Welcome in, everybody. If you're not a Yankees fan, if you're just a Jets fan, the pain continues. If you are a Yankees fan, you get another night of baseball. So I am certainly appreciative of that. I'll be in the building tonight. So let's hope the Yankees can get it back to Toronto where anything can happen in a do-or-die game number 5. All right, quick PSA before we bring on our esteemed guest in his weekly spot. Nick Shine is the guest, and I am partnering up with Nick to host a huge tailgate with our friend Tailgate Joe in Lot E26 for next Sunday's Jets-Panthers game. Perhaps it might be the only game the Jets win. Certainly feels that way. Who knows? But it's going to be a lot of fun. Even if you're already going to the game and you didn't buy a ticket to sit in section 129 with all the Asmaniacs, if you want to tailgate with us, you can. So make sure you join us starting at 9 a.m. We'll have a raffle for anyone who purchases a tailgate ticket that will include some signed Jets memorabilia. Fanatics is going to allow me to gift another Jets rivalry jersey as one of the prizes. It's BYOB because you can blame New Jersey State Police for that. But your ticket includes all you can eat. There's a DJ. There's drinks. By the way, non-alcoholic beverages are included. So you see all the info there on the screen. Venmo and PayPal and Cash App if you are joining us. And that goes right to Nick. He'll add you to the list, and you're getting the best deal you can get, a group discount rate for being part of the Asmaniac tailgate for our event for the Panthers game coming up next Sunday, October 19th. With that, we say hello to our good friend, Nick Shine. Nick, how we doing, baby? The Jets are 0-5, and we might have to save the season next Sunday and get the season's probably cooked, but we might have to at least get a win for everyone next Sunday when you and I are in the building for that Panther game. My God.
I don't know how many prayers I got left to get answered, but I'll pray for it, Jake. I'll pray we get a W, man. God's been good to me, but I don't know how many I got left in the chamber.
Man, unbelievable. At least you're a Yankee fan like I am, Nick.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, at least they prolonged the season for a little bit. Let's see if they can get something going. They got their guy on the mound today who's hot, and hopefully he can get it done.
No doubt. Let's hear from Brian Baldinger. Let's get right into it. Now, I think it's important to kind of set the scene for this one. So Brian Baldinger does a weekly hit on WFAN. Baldinger, he works for a bunch of different media outlets. He's on the NFL Network. He works for Odyssey. He calls games for Westwood One. He does the Baldy film breakdowns for the Jets. So he is technically a part-time Jets employee. So to see him be this critical of Aaron Glenn, this really surprised me. This was Brian Baldinger being asked on the Fan yesterday all about Aaron Glenn.
Any concerns that Aaron Glenn might be overmatched?
If you watched the game last night, and I know you did, Jacksonville had the fewest takeaways in the NFL a year ago. They were dreadful. Liam Cohen comes in, new offense, new defense coordinator, Anthony Campanile. They got 14 takeaways in the biggest one of the season on the interception return. The guy Devin Lloyd's been in this league now for a while. He leads the league in interceptions. Something like if you want to turn things around, take the ball away. And the Jets don't have a takeaway. Like they don't even get their hands on footballs. So, is he overmatched? I don't know. If you want to get competitive, figure out a way to take the ball away. Now, that starts in practice, the punching it out, all the different drills that you can do, and they're not doing any of that right now on the field. That's an indictment on the coach.
Yeah, I know.
And I don't know how many fans are sitting there and watching all these games of the Jets. They can't run a play without a mistake. And some of this stuff is just stupid. Like without a pre-snap penalty, without somebody falling down, without the ball getting on the ground, like they can't run a play without an error. Like, what are they doing during the week? That is all comes under the head coach.
Strong, real strong. And using the Jaguars as a great example, I think it's totally fair. I said this the other day, and I put a tweet out, and a lot of Jet fans weren't happy with it. Look at the Jaguars. They were worse than the Jets last year. Now, they're 4-1, and they have wins back-to-back weeks against the San Francisco 49ers on the road and the Kansas City Chiefs in primetime on Monday night. And people would say, well, they have a quarterback. I mean, Trevor Lawrence was 2-8 last year. Trevor Lawrence, we were saying, has been pretty much a bust given what the expectations were for him. He's been mediocre. He's been a mid-quarterback. And now all of a sudden we're going to use they have a quarterback. I think that's weak, and I think Baldy did a great job outlining the turnover issue the Jets have, saying that that's part of the responsibility of being the head coach when this happens. And I agree with his point about the amount of mistakes the Jets make, because if the Jets just ran a cleaner operation, especially on offense, right? The penalties and the fumbles, most notably, they wouldn't be winless right now, despite how bad the defense has been, allowing points and not turning it over. So it's harsh, and it's only 5 games for Glenn, but I don't think Brian Baldinger said anything there that's unfair, Nick.
No, it's not unfair. I'm still putting the majority of this on the players. And I know people might not agree with that from last week, but, again, we're driving down, opportunity to tie the game. Great opening drive by Engstrand, gets us to the 1. I'm pissed at Glenn for taking the penalty. You don't back yourself up away from the end zone, right, Jake? You do everything you can to get yourself closer to the end zone. So that's a bonehead call on Glenn, and that was moronic, in my opinion. You don't take a penalty to back up. You got Justin Fields and Breece Hall, who's on fire. Stay at the 1 and then take 2 plays to get the ball in the end zone. But then they settle for a field goal there. Now Engstrand comes back out. They're driving down. They get to the 9, and Breece Hall fumbles after a good run. And now you're down 2 scores because now your team gets deflated. They give up a 90-yard drive again. And now you're down 2 touchdowns, and you take away the identity that you want to be. You take away that run game. You take away that ball control. You take away your identity. And now you're coaching a team that you don't want to be. So we're not putting ourselves in advantageous situations. We're not taking advantage of good drives and putting touchdowns on the board. And now, as a coach, you're going to press, right? You're going to maybe do some things that you don't want to do because you're trying to turn the tides. You're trying to get a spark going. And that's not really who they want to be. So I think it's both to blame, players and coaching. I'm not a fan of Wilkes being aggressive when sometimes the smart play is to be safe. It's an art of knowing when to blitz and when not to blitz in the NFL. Sometimes you show it and you back it off, right? Because you want to keep the play in front of you. It's a 3rd and 10. You think you can keep that in front of you, make the tackle. But when you're blitzing just to blitz, like a 6-year-old playing Madden because it's the only play you're really hurting us more than helping us. And now players are saying, Sauce, I thought I'd help over the top. I think it was Cisco, who's usually on that side, jumps up on the under route. It's a 2-man route. And Sauce thought he had help over the top. But like 3 guys went to cover 1 guy and no one had help on the top. And we give up that play. So schematically, offensively, I think we're okay. I just think we have to keep this game close to be who we want to be. Defensively, we got to figure this shit out, man. This is getting rough, and teams are just taking advantage of us. And without Jermaine Johnson, we can't get to the quarterback. We got Quinnen Williams. We got Will. No one's been able to get to the quarterback with any consistency since week 1. And Jermaine then went out. So, we had 4 sacks week 1. Is Jermaine Johnson the most valuable player in the NFL, for crying out loud? That he goes out, we can't get to the quarterback at all? We're sending blitzes. Dallas had 4 backup linemen in. Tampa had 3 backup linemen in. Are we just overrating our players, like with how good they are? Or like you got to be able to beat a backup one-on-one, Jake. You're Quinnen Williams. You're supposed to be an all-pro level defensive tackle, and you did not even tell me if Dak Prescott has cologne on last week during the game or not, because you didn't get anywhere near him. It's rough.
It is shocking how bad it got this quickly for a first-year coach. You just don't see this. You really don't. I mean, as bad as the Jets have been in their history, they've never been 0-5 with anyone in their first year with the team. I mean, they need to win in the worst way. There's no other way to say it. If you want to cool the temperature briefly for the fan base, right? Because if they, win against Denver and then follow that up with a stinker at home against Carolina, what did you really do? But they really need to just get a win and try and just cool the temperature down right now, because, it's one thing for people like us who talk about them every day on YouTube and on podcasts. And it's one thing for people locally on sports talk radio or beat reporters to be critical of Aaron Glenn. When guys like Baldinger start doing it and other guys nationally start taking wind to the Jets and how poorly coached they are, it starts to set the stage for those uncomfortable conversations at the end of the year if this doesn't get any better. Like, people are now starting to be well aware on just how bad the Jets have been. Like, they are in a spot now where they're isolated at the top of the draft 5 games in as the only team without a win. Like, their defense is a joke, and the outside perception is, oh, you fired Robert Saleh, who was a defensive coach, and your defense is still garbage. It's actually worse now, way worse than it's ever been, and your offense is still not any good. I don't care what the Fields truthers want to tell you. It's been in garbage time. They have not scored a first-half touchdown since the opening game against the Steelers, right? And if you look at where we're at, a year ago today, the New York Jets fired Robert Saleh after they lost in London. Since that day, they are 3-14. They fired him a year ago today, and they're 3-14 since. And Nick, I wonder, with an awful showing in London, we know how much Woody loves those London games because his London buddies don't follow the Jets year round. So this is their one opportunity to see Woodruff's team. If this defense is horrific against Sean Payton, who's going to have a game plan to expose every fatal flaw we know the Jets defense is putting out on tape, does Steve Wilkes survive another bad showing? Like, that's a real question, and it's a shame because we're freaking 5 games into the year, but this is a legitimate conversation right now.
I'm never for saying that somebody deserves to get fired, but we need some sort of a change on defense. Sean Payton, as much as we may hate him personally, is a brilliant offensive mind in the NFL.
I don't even hate him personally anymore. He was right about
the bag, knowing how much we're pressing. His game plan. If you're a fan of football, take the Jets aside from it. If you're a fan of football, I think this is going to be torturous for us as Jets fans. But as a fan of football, the scheme and the play design that he comes out with just to toy with us, it's going to be impressive. Like, I'm not going to lie. Like, it's going to make me angry as hell. Like, God, he got us again. But I think this is going to be one of those offensive clinics that he calls against this team. He's going to take our over pursuit against us. He's got a mobile quarterback. Nick's is going to be running. Last week I told you take the over on Ferguson and a touchdown. This week I'm telling you take Nick's over on rushing yards and a touchdown. That's going to be the lock bets of the week.
Well, so, the thing is, though, Nick, the fact that we could say that's pathetic. That's embarrassing. That's on the head coach. That's on the head coach.
What do you do? If you're Glenn, you came in and you said you want to be the captain. You said you want to oversee everything. If you're Aaron Glenn, if you fire Wilkes and you take the play calling, Jake, and it's just as bad, you just, put the final nail in your coffin as the head coach. So do you promote somebody else interim this early in the season, in the first year? He got at the mic last week and said, Campbell stuck with me when it was rough in the beginning, and it paid off for us as an organization. It's different, though. We have to admit that. It's different being in New York with the fan base, with the drought, with the media, than it is being 0-10-1 in Detroit.
It is not good enough. Not good enough. The Detroit comparisons, I don't want to hear them. Go look at the Detroit roster in 2021. Compare it to the Jets. It's a joke. It's a joke. The New York Jets should not be this bad. If I would have told any Jet fan before the year that they were going to start 0-6, because let's be real, they're not winning Sunday. I'd be shocked. I hope I'm wrong. I really do. But they're going to start 0-6. You would have said you are way too negative. No way. No how. Don't accept this, Jet fans. This is unacceptable play. And until they start winning games and actually looking like a functional organization, the one and done talk is only going to grow louder. And it should, because if this team is picking number 1 overall, they should not get the opportunity to draft a quarterback, ruin that quarterback, and then just delay the inevitable. When we ruin that guy, he goes somewhere else 5 years down the line and is playing great like Sam Darnold. Like, it's sickening, man. The fact that we're here, it kills me. That's why they need a win in the worst way. You want to cool down the temperature, go out there and win a game. Maybe it's the best thing possible. They're away from all their families and friends and all the distractions of being in the U.S. and being, around this area where all the talk is so negative right now. Maybe the best thing for them is to get away and go out to London, where the Jet fans there are going to be super passionate and loud, probably a better home field advantage there than what MetLife sounds like these days, as sad as that is.
Doesn't sound like anything.
No.
You could hear a pin drop. When I'm telling you, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat, Jake, intense. Brees Hall, we got a good drive going. We're down. We're looking good. We overcame a 1st and 20. When do the Jets overcome a 1st and 20 without the defense making a dumb penalty to give us a first down? We convert that. And then we get the fumble. And I'm telling you, Jake, every single person did this. Shoulders tense. Oh. We all just sunk in our chairs. We knew that was it. That was the game right there. And it was that early in the game, and we knew we weren't overcoming it. And it's horrible right now to be a Jet fan. Yeah, I'm looking up some of the defensive assistants in case they make a move on Wilkes. Chris Harris has 12 years coaching experience. He's your defensive backs pass game coordinator. Do you elevate him? You have Dre Bly, Aaron Curry, Cameron Davis, who's the defensive line coach. Curry's the linebackers. You don't have anybody who's ever called the defense. You got several guys who've played defense in the NFL, and sometimes those guys end up being pretty good coordinators, right? They know what's worked on the field. They know what doesn't. But you're going to elevate someone and throw them into the fire and put the pressure on them as a first-time coordinator when your team is 0-5 or worse? So I don't know what Glenn's play is here, but we as Jets fans know that our owner is very in tune with social media. He's very in tune with what people are saying about his team, whether he's commenting or not this year for the first time. He's kind of taken back. Is the organizational plan to get the quarterback of the future, Jake? Is it let's just develop our offensive line, go out there, be competitive? Year 2, we'll get our quarterback and we'll take off. Now, I'm not blaming Fields, but is the organizational plan, let's go get that guy, let's build the trenches, and then in year 2, we'll hit the takeoff button? I don't know how much worse this can get before Woody does a Woody move.
Well, the one thing I would say is Woody Johnson don't do anything. Like, give Aaron Glenn the year. Do not meddle. Don't give anyone any excuse to say, hey, it was Woody. He didn't have a chance. Because I want Aaron Glenn to show us something, right? You wanted this job. You talked the big talk. Now let's see if you could rally this team that is down in the dumps right now, and you're getting it from all angles of people criticizing you. It's no longer just Jet fans and people kind of in this Jet media universe that we reside in. People like Brian Baldinger are taking notice. Kirk Benkirk had a tweet saying, watching the Jets film, wow, what a showing by the defense. Basically talking about how they quit and how non-competitive they were on those 3 Dallas touchdowns where they just had complete coverage busts. Brian Baldinger saying they can't run a play without a mistake and putting that directly on the head coach and talking about how it doesn't look like they're practicing being able to force turnovers. Like, it's scary, man. And for those saying, oh, what did you expect? You didn't expect this. And the Jaguars example is the best one because they had the fewest amount of turnovers in the league last year. They bring in, yes, an offensive-minded coach in Liam Cohen, but he hired a really good defensive coordinator, Anthony Campanelli, who comes over from the Green Bay Packers. Guess what? First opportunity to be a DC, nailed that hire. And it's crazy because Wilkes is the experienced hire. Angstran's been better than Wilkes, and he's never done it before at the NFL level. It's brutal, man. There's no other way to describe it other than just brutal. That's like when I think of the Jets right now and this experience, it's just a never-ending pain that unless you're in it every day like we are, it's just like, I don't know if any fan base has it worse right now.
Hashtag mayhem for Mendoza, Jake. Mayhem for Mendoza.
Ready for the NFL draft? When's your first mock draft coming out? October 8th?
Posted one in the Discord on Monday morning. Clancy's like, no, this is too soon. I'm like, or it was in a text group. I was like, don't you tell me how to spend my spare time at work, Clancy.
The pain.
It
If
is,
you're watching,
man. It's rough. And let's flip it real quick, right? If you're one of those fans who screamed and cried and pounded the table that we've won meaningless games and it cost us Trevor Lawrence or it cost us the number one pick for the Baker year, you know, you got to be happy right now because right now it looks like we should be in line for the number one pick. And listen, we've seen franchises get changed very quickly by hitting the number one pick. Washington had the number two pick and hit and turned their franchise around immediately. So I'm not saying that's my take, but that is obviously a vantage point you can look at and say franchises do get changed around quickly.
Washington had a brand new staff, So
Yep.
here, and also Houston, when they turned their franchise around quickly in that same scenario with Stroud as the number two pick, they had a brand new staff as well. So look, Aaron Glenn's got to show something here. I don't want him to be one and done. I don't want Aaron Glenn to be in the same light as Adam Gase and Rich Kotite as the worst coaches in franchise history. No one should want that if you're a real Jet fan. This guy wanted the job. He's a Jet. Doesn't make him a good head coach. That's the reality. We got to separate the Aaron Glenn storyline of him wanting this job and just evaluate him on the job he's now doing as the head coach of the NYJ. And it's been horrible. There's nothing I could point to that makes me have any hope or confidence this dramatically improves. I don't think they're going to go winless, but I had them at 6 wins before the year. Nick, I don't think they're sniffing 6 wins. I really don't.
It would be one hell of a turnaround to get there. And this is from somebody who thought looking at the run game and the defense, we would win 7, 8 games. And right now, that would be coach of the year material. Because if Aaron Glenn turns this around to get 5, 6, 7 wins, we should be ecstatic with where we started.
Comments, questions, super chats. They cut the line. We have an awesome raffle prize today I want to share. Let's tap into the legendary New York Jets because the current one's certainly far from that. Signed Joe Klecko helmet. Includes Hall of Fame inscription on it, making it even more valuable. So if you gift a membership or send in a $10 super chat or higher, you're automatically entered for your chance to win the helmet at the end of the stream. We also have our 3 weekly raffle prizes for next Tuesday after we awarded the 3 prizes yesterday morning. Signed Justin Fields jersey, signed Sauce Gardner jersey, and a signed Bart Scott Can't Wait jersey. So if you enter for any in-show daily raffle prize like today's Klecko helmet, you're automatically added to the weekly prize as well. The first Asmaniac to gift today and give someone a membership in the community is the Great Black Gypsy, followed by our friend Ryan McCarthy. So both are in. Will you be in the Asmaniac raffle gift away for your chance to win the signed Klecko helmet? Cy Duck says, Glenn is safe, get real, roster turnover is coming. I don't think they want a one and done Aaron Glenn. I don't think they want to fire him, but Cy Duck, hypothetically speaking, they go 0-17. He's not back. They go 1-16. I don't think he's back. 2-15. I don't know if he's back either. Like I got to see what it looks like, obviously, because there is some nuance with any discussion like this. But I think if I had to bet my life on it, Aaron Glenn's the head coach for next year. But I'm not confident in saying that right now, which is scary because it's October 8th and he's in his first year. That is scary to even entertain this conversation.
Yeah, we got to see it start getting better at some point, right? Like, I don't want to write Glenn's obituary now because there's still 12 games left to be played. But if this is how it looks Christmas, yeah. I mean, that discussion will take place. But I'm hoping, I'm like you say, I'm the very positive Jet fan. I'm hoping Glenn gets it figured out. I'm hoping they make some schematic changes. I'm hoping that it looks better. And I've said that for 5 weeks now, and it's gotten worse from week 1. So, I mean, are Quincy Williams and Jermaine Johnson the 2 most valuable players in the history of the NFL? Is it Ray Lewis and Lawrence Taylor that we lost? And that's why this defense doesn't look good all of a sudden?
Well, to be fair, though, I think the defense looked great for a lot of the Steelers game either. The secondary, anyway. I mean, I thought Jermaine played well in his first game back. I was stunned how well he looked, and McDonald
50 plays was shocking.
Yeah. So maybe Jermaine being back this week, that is certainly a positive, but he got a lot of issues, man. I mean, just win a game. That's all they could do. Ladies and gentlemen,
go ahead.
Who better than Mimosa? Mimosa in the house. She got kicked out of MetLife on Sunday after getting into a brawl with a Cowboys fan. Mimosa, you're the best. She sent in a $50 super chat here. That puts her in the Asmaniac raffle for 10. Her comment says, should have kept Martinez and developed him. In my opinion, we're going nowhere with Fields, and our defensive coordinator is terrible. Something needs to change because I can't keep getting kicked out of MetLife. Mimosa, I think I speak on behalf of everyone watching. You got to call in soon and tell us what happened, because that sounds like an absolutely iconic story. As far as keeping Martinez, they do have Brady Cook, so I don't think we're at that point yet where they would play Brady Cook. But in a scenario where, let's say, Fields is injured and it's so late in the year, I don't need to see Tyrod Taylor. I'd rather give Brady Cook a chance, but I guess we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
Yeah. When you say brawl, like punches were thrown, physical altercation, or just verbal where it got so bad the security was like, that's enough?
Here's the information I have.
All right.
Mimosa just got tossed from MetLife. This is from her brother, who emailed me at 3:22 p.m. on Sunday. I responded back. What did she get tossed for? Response: she smacked a hat off a Dallas fan.
Oh, yeah.
Chip off the old block. That's all we know right now, Nick. I would love more information.
That'll do it. Now, was it a male or a female?
Great question. That we don't know the answer to.
Inquiring minds need to know. This is the most exciting thing to happen to us since the season started, Mimosa.
It really is.
It's so sad.
We need information. We need it, and we need it now. So, Mimosa, let us know. Give us the details.
She got a couple comments ago with a little bit of a update. 10:34.
Let's pull this up here. It was a male. I'm seeing that. Okay, here it is. It honestly can't be told on TV. The guy was terrible, calling me names I can't repeat and threatened to beat the poop out of me. I said, go ahead. Ray Rice. We'll see who ends up in the elevator. Oh, hey now. Mimosa. Let's go. Look, we might not win on the field, but Mimosa won in the stands for all of us, so we love that.
I wish our team had as much fight as she does. Maybe we'd be 5-0. Shout out to you, Mimosa.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is for Mimosa.
Thank you, Mimosa, for your generosity and tremendous support of the Jake Asman Show.
I also would like to add that the Yankee Stadium security guards had the perfect, textbook tackle on the two fans who ran on the field last night in between innings. So I would love the Jets to strongly consider signing either one of them, if not both, and potentially add them to the linebacker room, because we're struggling there.
Yeah, I was watching the game at work on Fox Sports, and the one of the announcers is like, he's about to get blindsided. Oh, yeah, they took him down. What a great tackle. They even commented on it. They don't show those because they don't want to encourage them, but they did comment on it. And his friend's out here too. Oh, he's he's down. Great job.
Oh, man. What do we got?
Video of that yet? Has fans posted videos? Have you seen the video?
Yeah, you can find it online. It's everywhere. Mike Perez with a super chat. He's in the raffle for 2. I think we all know deep down inside, we're not blind. We can see the product on the field. Winning the last 3 games won't mean crap. I mean, I could see the Jets winning 2 of their last 3, and then Glenn being like, took a while for it to click, but we feel like we're headed in the right direction now going into the offseason when, let's be honest, there's going to be major roster turnover if they retain this staff. So it means nothing. So I'm with you, Mike. I need to see some real progress, some real wins before we get to December, when it's garbage time anyway. Adam Gase won all his games in December, his last month. He finished 6-2 after starting 1-7. I tried to buy into that because I wanted to be positive then, and I wanted to believe in Sam Darnold, right? That was my only hope. But this team doesn't have that young quarterback we're buying into for the future. We know what Justin Fields is for the most part. Maybe he could change the narrative, but I think 5 games in, he's been exactly what I thought we were getting to this point. So I I agree. I really need to see some real progress soon, not when it's December, which is then the garbage time of the NFL season if you're an awful football team. And let's see this team go out there and actually win some games and surprise us. You're allowed to win as an underdog. That's okay. You're allowed. And by the way, the Jets were a favorite by kickoff on Sunday. Pathetic.
Because Vegas bought into the nonsense that our defensive line could get home against 4 backups. Good Lord.
And they can't even touch Dak. Couldn't even sniff him. Amazing. Spencer Green, super chat. Can we get the ball coach on the phone and get his take if it's players or coaching? Big Cho, we need your Cho pill. We did get a Big Cho call. I want to say it was either yesterday or the day before. But we do need more Big Cho at all times. So I agree, Spencer. You're also in the raffle for 2. The great Mr. Bonesy, who I had the honor and privilege of speaking with on the phone this morning, because Bonesy, at our watch party for the preseason game for the Giants game over the summer, he won the raffle that night at halftime for 2 additional tickets to Jets Panthers. So Mr. Bonesy is bringing himself, his son, Sonny, and his brother, Joe Bonesy, with us to the Asmaniac outing that Nick and I will be a part of next Sunday. So we have a full Bonesy affair. His super chat says, my 2 favorite homies. What handsome fellas you are. I'm Brady Cook's biggest fan. Can't wait to see everyone at the Panthers game. Me, Joe Bonesy, and Sonny. Can't wait. Look, I don't think we're going to see Brady Cook this year, but we could if it's, one injury and they just want to see what they have in them before they, the season's over. I guess that would be the path for it.
Yeah, but let's be realistic here. The Jets are going all in for a quarterback at the top of the 2026 draft. As of today, there's nothing that they're going to do to keep Fields long term. Now, can Brady Cook develop into a perennial backup? Can he be the guy that is here long term? Because you're going to let Taylor go next year. You're probably going to have Fields start the season and then give the reins over, whether it's a couple games in or midway through. But can Cook be that guy who develops and is that smart backup and just, a Chase Daniel type who just sits there and develops? And yeah, that would be a great career trajectory for an undrafted quarterback to be a perennial backup spot starter. So I think that's his ceiling, and that's it. Even if he goes out and wins 2 games in December, guys, we are not going into 2026 with Brady Cook as our starting quarterback. There's no way in hell they're doing that. So
be nice to see him play well, though, because then you might have a long-term backup.
Yeah, but you still need people to hold on to the ball and not have other guys fumble it.
Correct.
We're not getting a true barometer of what Justin Fields can be because we're down 2 touchdowns. And we said coming into the season, the recipe for disaster is Justin Fields throwing the ball 42 times. That means we're down multiple scores. Week 1 was who we were going to be. 39 rushes, and that was the most competitive we were all season. We got to be able to run the ball, control the clock, and then play better defense, man. That's the recipe for the Jets. And if they can't do that, we're not going to win games if we can't do that. We're not talented enough to play a game that we don't want to play and win.
We're just not a good football team. I mean, that's poorly coached, just everything. Gator wants to know, why are our female fans more capable of kicking ass than the overpaid players? It's a great question.
She gives a damn.
That's right. Passion. No quit. Mimosa. Kyle, super chat. Been a channel member for 15 months. Thank you, Kyle. He says, Jake, despite Glenn saying they'd be competitive this year, they clearly had another plan. They gutted this roster with an eye towards the draft. Couple things, Kyle. They didn't gut the roster. In fact, they did the opposite. If you believe that, then you need to answer one simple question. Why did they split Aaron Rodgers' dead cap over 2 years? If their plan was to gut the roster and basically punt on the season, have a top pick in the draft, get their quarterback, and then build it up from here, why did they split Rodgers' cap hit up? Why did they make moves before the year to bring in 2 defensive linemen in training camp when they realized they completely screwed up that position the entire offseason and neglected it in a very deep NFL draft? It doesn't jibe now. What Glenn now is trying to do is change the expectations and kind of move the goalposts a bit. That's not what their original plan was at all. They thought they had a team that could be coached up. They could take a lot of these players and they could take them from an awful team last year to a team that could be fighting for a wild card spot because they were going to be properly coached. Remember, Glenn was puffing his chest about Will McDonald's bull rush move in training camp with it's coaching. It's coaching. Remember, he's pounding his chest about how disciplined they're going to be and not beat themselves and all this stuff we heard. Their plan now might be, hey, this is going so bad. We might have to gut the roster at the trade deadline, get some picks, and have our focus be on the draft and the offseason of 2026. I get that, but that's not what their plan was. Let's not have the revisionist history. If I told any Jet fan before the year this team was going to start 0-6, you would have said I'm an asshole. I'm too negative. You're dead wrong, Jake. So I'm not buying that, Kyle. I think that's very disingenuous if you think Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji actually thought this team was going to be this bad.
Yeah, there's a lot of individual mistakes that are just making it impossible for a bad team to overcome. We got to stop shooting ourselves in the foot. We got to finish drives. We got to get in the end zone early so that we can play the game that we want to play. And it sounds simple, but that's really sometimes being simple is the easiest path to victory. Be competitive, run the ball, finish the drives. Don't turn the ball over inside the 10-yard line in back-to-back weeks when you look like you're about to tie the game up. And now you're down 2 scores and you can't run the ball. So it's aggravating, man. It's a shame because we're not getting to see Engstrand call a full game as the team he wants to call. He doesn't want Justin Fields throwing the ball 42 times, guys. I promise you that. It's amazing that Fields hasn't thrown an interception, too, with all the times. Now, he's holding the ball longer because maybe he doesn't want to make that mistake, right? So it's a give and take. Get rid of the ball, maybe throw a pick. Hold the ball, take the sack. Like we've seen quarterbacks throw interceptions, and our fans say, just break out of the pocket, run it, don't throw interceptions. He's taking sacks, and now fans are losing their minds over that. I think it's just a given that we will never have our minds, and we've always lost our minds. So no matter what happens, we're going nuts, Jake. It's too much for too long, and I pray for the day to get here where we see competent football for 4 quarters.
One of these days before we die, maybe. Maybe. Ladies and gentlemen, Colin Wolford is the latest to enter the raffle this morning. For those who missed it, it is a sick raffle prize. Hall of Famer Joe Klecko signed helmet. Colin, thank you. You are in for 5.
The practices have been damn good. They are, but
Here's who got a membership from Colin. If you hear your name, thank him. Paul Salio, Jaden D'Angelo, Daniel Scavino, Milked 109 IB, and our guy Dominic D'Angelo, all receiving a channel membership. King Lowski in the house. He says, all rise. Amen. Let's go. Let's go, Yanks. One team in New York playing in the playoffs every single year, unlike the Jets, who have the longest playoff drought in professional sports. Let's see. Richard Jones says, one of the beat reporters should ask Aaron Glenn a simple question. Is this team playing better now than they did a year ago? I mean, if he says anything other than obviously not, look at our record, then yeah. I mean, it's crazy, right? This is the anniversary of Robert Saleh being fired. And think about it. The Jet debacle started when they lost to the team they're playing on Sunday, Denver at home, in the worst weather game of all time. And they lost 10-9. Greg Zuerlein couldn't bail them out at the end by hitting a field goal that he hits in his sleep his first 2 years with the Jets. Just brutal. They're 3-14 since they fired Saleh, and they're 3-16 since we left MetLife Stadium after Neil humped the jersey in the pregame, and the Jets went out there and dominated the Patriots to get the 2-1.
So does Neil have to hump another jersey to reverse the curse?
We've been telling him to do it. He hasn't done it, so I don't think it's ever happening.
He can hump a pillow. He can hump another jersey, for crying out loud.
Yeah, I mean, he should have showed up to L5 before week 2. We would have won that day, and everything would have been different.
Hump the pillow with a jersey on top of it, Neil? We need something from you, buddy.
Man. JB writes in, I'm behind on the stream, but did you talk about the Jets sending that touchdown tweet in the comments in that tweet? I talked about it yesterday because I went viral on it. I responded and I wrote, stay there till you win a game. And I turned off the notifications, but last I checked, it has 24,000 likes, 740 retweets, and almost has 1 million views. It has 900,008 views. 908.7K views, according to Twitter. So I ratioed the Jets, as the kids say, Nick.
Yeah, that's well done. Yeah, they posted a picture of Brees, and it says, Grok, show me a photo of a do-it-all running back. and it's Brees 113 rushing yards, 42 receiving yards, 4 receptions. And I commented, "Why do you do shit like this, knowing that this post is going to get torched for the fumble?" 133, like Jake. So pipe down there, buddy.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, look at this. This is what we call ratioing, kids.
Yeah. Well done.
And I feel bad for the people that run the social media because like they're told to do this. Like they always got to be positive no matter what. Like the Jets could be like going into the last game of the year at 0-16, and their tweet will be one last time to do it all together. Like it will be something like ridiculous like that. But I mean, director of common sense, I would say no social media until we win a game. Like that would be one of my mandates.
It's
like,
yeah, come on.
Stop.
Yeah.
You're not selling tickets by being active on Twitter. You're
Yeah.
not. No one's buying
Win
tickets
football.
based on this tweet.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And I feel that these social media people aren't football people. So their goal is to just drive engagement. Good or bad, they're getting engagement, right? That's what social media is. You want the interactions, you want the clicks, you want the views. But man, for a football team to be posting irrelevant shit is aggravating. Like I don't want to see Jeremy Ruckert handing out bagels in front of a place in London. But that's what we have to see. Quinnen Williams walking out to a crappy football field in the middle of nowhere for practice this morning. Who gives a damn? Win some football games. That's it. Win. And then we'll look at all your stupid posts when you win. Why you get me mad, Jake? Calm down.
Mad every day, Nick.
I'm
I'm a Jets fan.
We got the Yankees, though.
We do for at least another night.
At least we can give a schlit about that today.
We're getting slid up later. Let's go.
Right.
Jack with a super chat. He joins our Klecko signed helmet raffle for 2. He says the Jets were 8-point favorites against Denver last year before a loss that started this debacle and started Denver's ascension. They're 8-point underdogs in this game. Is this the game that reverses it all? I love the spin zone. I don't see it personally, but I thought the Jets were going to be able to dominate Denver last year, and that didn't happen. So I hope you're right. I don't know where you're seeing 8 because on FanDuel it's 7 right now. So if you are finding 8 somewhere, I'd love to know where, but FanDuel has it at 8. I'll have some bets for Jets and the Broncos later in the week. One bet I do like, though, FanDuel has the Jet team total over at 17.5. Other than the Bills debacle, the Jets have been able to clear 17 points or more in all their games because they're the kings of garbage time. So if we all think they're going to get blown out, I think there's an opportunity for the New York Jets to be able to score 18 points or more and cover and win that bet. So the one bet I already know I really like on FanDuel this week is Jets team total over 17.5 points.
Yeah, I like Bo Nix over rushing yards, over touchdown. I don't even know what the over is, but I'll take it. Because we're not going to get home on blitzes. So he'll have easy pockets to run out of. I pray for the day that I'm wrong, but I don't even know who their tight end is, but take him on over with receptions too. And probably their backup tight end for a touchdown just because they'll get cute.
Sean Payton's going to have such a game plan that exposes
He's going to
Michael
put on
Clemens.
a coaching clinic on how to run an NFL offense with how undisciplined we are.
Yeah, I mean, but it's not hard to do that. Like any coach should be able to expose what the Jets do defensively. It's the same thing. We see it on film every week. You go at Clemens, you go at the linebackers. You run play action because you know that the Jets are going to bite on it, and you're ready to roll. Peter Castro in the house. He says even the refs hate us.
Listen, we've been so bad. We haven't even pointed that out. Fields got thrown down to the ground twice the week before. Ruckert gets pancaked as he's trying to get up. That's how long he was on the ground. Nothing happens. Fields on the 4th down rollout, and even though it was a moronic play call to roll him out to his left, where he has to jump, twist his body, and throw it, still gets a hit to the head. I mean, there are calls that are being missed. I'm not blaming those for the losses, but there are really awful calls that aren't being called for us. The Jets were playing they were doing this. They were like editing it back and forth of the hand hit going to Fields' head to show the refs like you're missing horrible calls.
I saw the video from a fan who was there of that. They always do that when there's that blatant of a missed call. Doesn't matter because the Jets never get a call anyway. And they don't deserve any calls until they start winning games. Like there's something to that. The Jets have a reputation of being an undisciplined penalty-infested, disgusting team, and that narrative sticks with you until you change it. And that's why they get called for all these BS penalties, and they never get any calls. That all contributes.
Listen, you get a 15-yard penalty, that can change a game, that can change the drive, that can change momentum, that can change the morale on the sideline. When you're not getting those calls, what does it do? You sunken shoulders, right? Just like the fans in the stands when Brees fumbled. Players are human; they're not immune to reacting to things. So when you see nothing is going your way, it can affect you. And I said this, Jake, on Twitter. I said on my show the other night, we need an asshole on this team. There are too many nice PR guys. Garrett Wilson, nice guy. Sauce, nice guy. Quinnen, nice guy. We need a Warren Sapp type of an a-hole who just calls people out. John Simpson's supposed to be that guy, and he's crying after the game, for crying out loud, Jake. Who's going to be that fiery spark? Who's going to be that guy to call out his teammates for not performing? Who's going to be the guy to scream at the wide receivers for not knowing their goddamn job? Who's going to step up? Who's going to be the guy that says, I don't care what the media says about me. I don't care about what the Jets PR team thinks. We need to do our job. It's more than a paycheck to me. Do I need to be that guy? I'll go be that guy. Let me go talk to this team in the locker room, Jake. And I'm tired of it. It's too many nice guys. Nice guys don't win in football. Thank you.
Fiore says AG is too worried about the outside noise. Talks about it all the time. Talked about coaching players up and making fans proud. Instead, we watch Yankees security guards with better pursuit than our linebackers. He ain't wrong. Instead of focusing on the outside noise and coaching players up, I think Robbie Sabo nailed this. How about coach up your coaches to design a game plan that is specific for the team you're playing that week? Because that's the issue, right? The strategist coach, the Ben Johnsons, the Liam Cohens, the Mike Vrabels, look at their records with their teams in their respective first years. Then there's us at 0-5. Brian Baldinger nailed it with his harsh assessment on what the Jaguars are doing and how their first-year defensive coordinator has taken a team that had the least amount of turnovers in the NFL a year ago. And now they're one of the best. And they won a game on Monday night because of that. So enough said. Yeah. Jack says, I had to move the line up a point to fit my narrative. LOL. Okay, so you were just coming up with a fake spread.
Has it at 7.5. So he's not. There might be a site out there that 8. And trust me, it's going to get bet on the Broncos so much, it'll move to 8. He'll be right by Friday.
Yeah, I've been saying this. If you're going to bet on the game, wait till closer to game day, because I do think people will see the line being like, Jets haven't had a win. Denver just beat the Eagles. And the line will move to 8 by the time we get the kickoff. I agree with that. Big fella. If the Yankees make it out of this round, Rodon should be relegated to the pen. Can't pitch in a big spot or with a lead. Go Yanks. I don't think they'll do that, but Rodon's come up small in these playoff moments, man. No doubt. He got bailed out last night by a historic comeback. I mean, the Yankees in their history, it's only the third time they've ever had a 5-run comeback. It's the first time they've ever done it in an elimination game like that. So that was unbelievable last night. It really was. He gave himself a chance today.
For the narrative about Judge in the playoffs, he's having an all-time playoff run.
But he needed the moment to cap that off so far, because the moment he had a chance in game 1 with the bases loaded, he swung at ball 4. So I agree with you. And now maybe he's comfortable now. Maybe it all clicks and it's like, here we go. Now he's going to just have that A-Rod 09 signature run. Let's see. You got Cam tonight against a bullpen game. Yankees are big favorites. Get it back to Toronto. You hope Max Fried could bounce back. He's been rocked in the playoffs before. I was at Game 6 of the World Series, where after he got rocked against the Astros earlier in that series, he came back with the Braves, pitched a gem, and the Braves won the World Series, which was awesome because I can't stand the Astros. So I've seen it.
Judge's line is absurd in the playoffs. His average is 636. His on base is 714. Shout out to Babe Ruth's amount of home runs. Slugging is 1.091, and his OPS is 1.8. Like, that is ridiculous numbers across the board for what's supposed to be a power hitter, right? And he's getting all types of hits. Hopefully the rest of the team can step up. They can get hot, and the pitching. If we get the pitching that we got in the first series against Boston, we'll be all right because we can score.
We can score. At least it feels that way, because they've hit the Blue Jays bullpen hard.
It's a bullpen day.
That's right. And that's why you got to get out
After
early.
yesterday being essentially a bullpen day for 6 innings.
That's why the Yankees are big favorites, because you've seen all their pitchers now the last 2 games. You've hit them well. Even though they got killed in game 2, they did rally and score like 7 runs. And it was, quote unquote garbage time, but you got to see a lot of the same pitchers you saw last night and you'll see again today. So you feel good about that. Let's get to some calls now, shall we? Reminder for those tuning in, we do have a sick raffle today. It's a signed Joe Klecko helmet at the end of the show. So if you want to enter, you can. For those coming to the Panther game with Nick and I and the Asmaniacs and Shiners, we talked about it at the top of the show, but here's your info. Tailgate starts at 9 a.m. with Tailgate Joe and Lot E26. In fact, I even know people that are going to come to the tailgate that aren't even going to the actual game. They just want to come and hang out with us beforehand.
I did that for the opener with Talking Jets. So I can relate. I went home to do the game stream, but I can relate.
So there you go.
And I got some news, if I could drop this.
Yes.
We'll have Tailgate Joe on with us next Wednesday. But there is something with mocktails that are going on that we will have set up for us. So Joe will have all that information next week. He'll get into details with it, but we'll have a tent set up. I have an extra tent in the truck that I'll bring. And for those of you getting parking passes, to get into Lot E, it's a platinum pass. I just bought one yesterday. I think it was $60 for a platinum pass. It was $185 for it for the Cowboy game. So the platinum lot is where we are. You can buy a gold lot and walk over. The gold is the cheapest ones. But we'll have some information. We may have some mocktails made up with a Gatorade cooler or whatever and cups. Joe will have all that information next week. The menu, if you go to tailgatejoe.com, is an Asian bistro. And then they'll have some other things mixed in as well.
Let's go. It's going to be great. Ladies and gentlemen, to your calls we go. The guy I wanted to bring on is currently not sitting in his chair in his office. So we're going to pivot. I'm going to start things off with Francesco, who's first today. Hello, Francesco.
Hey, what's going on, guys? What's up, Nick? Nice seeing you again from Miami.
What's up, buddy? Yes, how
I was
are
the
you?
one sitting behind you, bud.
Yes, sir.
It was such a funny story because I watched your stream, like Jake's stream and your stream before the game, and I'm like, I wonder if I'll see Nick down there. And then I'm like walking through the parking lot, walking around the stadium before the game. I'm like, yeah, I probably won't see him. And then little do I know, he's sitting one row in front of me at the stadium, and I was like, oh shit, that's Nick Shine. Everybody's like, who?
That was the highlight of the day. Then the game started.
That was so terrible. But honestly, you were with a great group of guys, and
Lou B.
I thought, yeah. No, it was fun. I mean, it would have been better. I thought we were gonna, put the nail in Miami's coffin, but Carolina probably did that for us, which is pretty pathetic to think about.
Yeah.
I cannot believe we couldn't beat Miami. That was embarrassing. Your friend was like, I want to see them come out and throw the ball 4 straight times. And Aaron Glenn comes out and runs the ball 4 straight times. And I was like, yep, that's how it goes. I don't think we're aggressive enough in the beginning of the game. Like, all the time you would hear Joe B go, I want to see the guy, play action, first play of the game, throw it just all the way down the field. Have we ever seen that? It's always.
I'll tell you what, though, Francesco, there were moments where they could have made plays downfield. Like the drive where they were running the hell out of the ball on Sunday against the Cowboys, and you had back-to-back incompletions. One of them was just a clear miss we showed yesterday on the film review. If you caught my episode yesterday, where like Garrett's open. So it's like they are just unable to like put together that complete drive, even when they have really good opening drives, like what happened against Miami. Braylon Allen fumbles. That should have been a touchdown. The drive with Brees, you're down 10-3, should have been 10-10 with momentum back to your defense before halftime. You're in the game. Like they just beat themselves. I mean, moments when they have opportunities, they never take full advantage. Either the drive stalls out and they settle for 3, which you can't do against teams in the NFL anymore because everyone's scoring points, or they turn it over and they kill themselves, and they're not built to come from behind.
Yeah, no, it's definitely horrible. But I'm just saying, like, just to see it, like, just take the shot because every team just knows we're going to run the ball. It's like 3 yards and a cloud of dust every time. Then what? Sometimes we'll break a little bit, and it's just like you can't live on 12 to 15 play drives every time. You got to
Well,
have
you
some
can if you don't
explosive.
fumble to finish the drive, though.
That's true, but we also need some explosives too, don't you think? Like, isn't
We're getting
like
explosives. We're one of the top teams in the league in explosive plays.
I don't know about what
We
throws
are.
down
I'm not
20
making it
yards,
up.
throws 20 yards down the field, throws that go more than 20 yards down the field.
Yeah,
I doubt we
we're in
have
the
that
top third of
many.
the league in explosive plays.
Oh, really? I don't know. I don't see it, but yeah, maybe in garbage time because the defense is way back there. They're not giving up anything in front, just like Jake always says. You know, I don't know. Just miserable, but yeah, I can't believe we were yelling at that Justin Fields penalty when he got thrown down out of bounds. That was fun. Down in Miami, me and you, Nick. That
Yeah,
was a clear
it was
penalty.
aggravating.
So aggravating, but hope we didn't ruin your time. One last thing before, if you had to go back and do you know, when they wanted to trade us Micah Parsons for Quinnen, I know it's kind of stupid because we need those resources for a quarterback, but you were just saying we need an asshole on this team. Honestly, to have that type of player on our team, Quinnen is great and all, but I don't know. I might go back and do it regardless and just pick a quarterback that, you know, we get later on. You know, we don't have to get a first round QB, but I don't know. It's just I guess a thought, but I think Micah would have been the best defensive player we've had ever. So anyway,
That wouldn't have worked though. They would have been screwed. Thank you for the call, Francesco. They imagine they didn't have their first round pick right now. How screwed they would be given this season. What quarterback are you taking? I mean, you'd be absolutely screwed.
No, I'm happy we didn't do that. That's a put you over the top type of play or type of move. Like you don't make that move when you don't have a quarterback, when you don't have weapons. You don't make that move, pay that guy that money, and then have him be here for 4 years when you can't win because you don't have an offense. No, it's not Madden. There's actual logic to moves, and it doesn't make sense for a team that's building in year one to make an all-in move. That's how you wreck your franchise. Even more.
Mr. Magoo is dude. Reset your stream here. There's a big delay with you. That's why I don't want to step all over you, Nick. Mr. Magoo says Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, best in baseball. Go Yankees. I mean, Judge is the best hitter by far. Ohtani, obviously, because he pitches, makes him the best overall player. But I mean, we've never seen a hitter like Judge. The pitch he hit last night for the home run, 99.7 miles per hour, was the hardest a ball has been thrown in that location and hit for a home run ever. And it's the hardest pitch Judge has ever hit a home run on, too, by the way. And it was so inside. Unbelievable. Nick Shine back with us. Mr. Internet, how we doing?
How are we?
A lot better. Not quite Ricky NY levels now.
All right. Let me know. If I got to reboot. I'll reboot.
Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls. Up next on the Gusbuster Umbrella Hotline is...
Get ready for Neil. He will make 13 points about the New York Jets and maybe hump a Patriots jersey. Get ready for Neil. He's probably smoking a big fat cigar and burning his house to the ground. That's Neil.
What's up, guys?
Neil.
I'm boycotting cigars till we get a Jet win.
No way.
I'm not going to smoke a cigar till we get a win. Not
on air. Or, I was going to say.
Oh no,
that's the only thing I'm enjoying in this football season is the cigars. I had 3 of them at the game Sunday, 2 before and 1 after.
Yeah, baby. I might come down with a box of Cubans for the tailgate next week. Just to see you guys, you know, I got to tell you, man, I love these guys. I love you guys. I love the chat. keeps me sane. I honestly think if I didn't have this, I'd be in a really dark place, man. I might have been really in a dark place if I didn't have Jake and you and all these guys in the chat and listening to all these guys. You
Neil,
know,
do you want a ticket, by the way? We could get you a ticket for the actual section.
Like I said, I got to see what's happening. My mother-in-law is on death watch. You know, she's 85 pounds. She's got stage 4 cancer. I'm going to have a bad week. I just feel it. My wife's over there now. So forget about that. But let's just talk about this. So I'll give you a funny thing. I'm at hockey last week. My little grandson's playing hockey. My son Michael's there. And I am I am the mush. I'll take the title mush, and my gambling is just atrocious. So I have money in my account. I say, Michael, do me a favor. Make some bets for me because he is phenomenal with these parlays. So he makes a 14 parlay for me for 100 to win like 700 or something like that. The last leg of the parlay was the Cardinals beating the Titans for $700. So here I am, texting. I go, Michael, I think I'm going to win this thing. You know, St. Louis is up 21-6. He goes, yeah, it looks pretty good. I turn around. He calls me up. He goes, Dad, don't even look. He goes, the Titans are about to win the game. He goes, this is ridiculous. So I lost that. So he makes a 12-team parlay for $150. Did you guys ever made a 12-team parlay before?
I made a 10-1 on Sunday for the Jet game, and I hit
How many came out?
8. I missed Fields rushing yards. He had 26. I had him over 40, and I missed Garrett Wilson receiving yards. It was 80, and he only had 62, but I hit everything else.
So listen, he makes the ultimate mistake. He has, I'm going to tell you, I tell him, send me the ticket. I can't believe you did this. Marvin Harrison, over plus 40 yards, hit. Dave Montgomery, anytime touchdown, hit. Lad McConkey, 4+ receptions, hit. Justin Jefferson, 50 yards plus, hit. Jake Ferguson, 30 yards plus, hit. Derrick Henry or Woody Marks, anytime touchdown, hit. Tet McMillan, 50 yards receiving, hit. Chris Olave, 5 receptions, hit. Jake Dobbins, 40 yards plus, hit. Jonathan Taylor, anytime touchdown, hit. Baker Mayfield, plus 200 yards, hit. Now, he has a cash out of $4,500 on $150. His last bet to make 12 out of 12 was Drake May over 200 yards passing. It hit, right? He had 280 yards passing. He makes the ultimate mistake. He calls me up. He goes, Dad, I could cash out right now for $4,500, or I could hold off for Drake May plus 200 yards, and I'll make $8,500. I said, Michael, you got $4,500. Take it and run. And he took it. I said, why do you listen to me? You never listen to me. You could have had $8,500 instead of $4,500.
That's still a good return, though.
That's a great return.
Who cares?
Good return, Jake. Come on, dude.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is to pick 12 out of 12?
I know. Yeah. I would have taken the money.
You got 11 out of 12. That's like hitting lotto.
Yeah.
I said, take the money. Right.
I have a very important question here, though, Neil. And the question's not for you. It's for Boomtown. Does each leg of that parlay equal a different point that Neil made during the call? How are we scoring this? Did he just make 12 different points?
That does not count. Back it up. So Bart Scott said a very important thing, and I love Bart Scott. The problem we have here, guys, is aside from the leadership on the team, on the coaching staff, we don't have, and you mentioned it, Nick, and even in this chat, we don't have a leader in the locker room. We don't have a leader on either side of the ball, and Bart Scott pointed that out. In other words, if we're a bunch of young guys in the thing and we want to have a players-only meeting, right? You have that, right? Because everybody's playing like shit. Who's going to lead the meeting? There's nobody there that any other teammate could look at and say, I want to hear what Quinn and Williams has to say. And he's soft-spoken, so he's not the guy. He's the obvious guy. He's the captain of the defense. He's the obvious guy to do it, right? Sauce Gardner, yeah, he might be the guy to do it, but he's too busy adjusting his diamonds in his teeth and counting his money to talk about what being a leader is all about. And we don't have that on either side of the ball, guys. And that's a problem. We didn't do it and I fault the coaching staff for that, because you really have to have a leader, a veteran on either side of the ball. We had that with Aaron Rodgers. We had that with Devontae Adams. We had that with C.J. Mosley. We don't have it now. And that's a problem. Would you agree or not agree?
I do agree. And I think that one thing that has surprised me is that when Glenn got the job, he didn't bring in a bunch of former Lions with him.
That shows you there's a problem there. These guys don't want – maybe everybody on Detroit said, man, this guy's a complete asshole. All he does is work guys to the bone thinks he's Bill Belichick or Parcells, and he wants to beat the hell out of everybody. And when you come from the last 3 years where all you've been doing is getting petted by Salah and telling you how great you are, and then you have a guy come in and the first thing he does is get rid of Rodgers and Devontae and strip down the team, and then you come out and he starts whipping you on the back, and then you say, okay, I'll buy in for this. Then first thing game happens, this happens, that happens. Then the thing starts falling apart. These guys have obviously they've cashed in a little bit, and that's where you're seeing the mistakes. When you don't have 100% focus and 100%, playing with your hair on fire, reason we don't get fumbles, guys, is when the guy fumbles the ball, where's the Jets around the ball? When you look at the screen, there's no Jets there. When you look at other teams, there's 5 players on the defense going at the ball. And that's because there's no players around the ball, because they're not rallying to the ball. They're not gang tackling. They're not holding a guy and the other guy punching it. They're not doing any of these things. And I hate to say it, but I just don't see – there's really too much give up here. Now,
you can't get to the ball when you're getting consumed by the blocker and you're not getting off blocks. And we're not getting off the blocks. We got backup offensive linemen negating our top defensive linemen. So it's
look, and everybody wants to strip the roster down, Nick. You can't look. We're not going to have a fire sale. We had the 5th best roster in the league according to ESPN last year, the year before. Our roster, you could compare to Jacksonville. You could compare it to the Bears. You could compare it to the Patriots, and you could compare it to even the Colts. Our roster's just as good as those 4 rosters, yet our team we can't smell a win. That tells me that the problem is at the top. And unless this changes, I hope Woody Johnson decides when he's there, after we get our butt whipped, maybe he'll open a team up in London and call it the London Jets, and maybe he'll get rid of us. Something's got to happen. Yeah, he's got to
there till you win a game. That's my mentality.
That was a great text, a great tweet. I say, Woody, let's get a team in London. I hope he talks to the ownership in London that owns the stadium, and he opens up a professional team in London. Maybe he talks to the league owner there. What's his name? And they open a team up in London. They call them the London Jets. That's the only way we're going to stop being fans, is if they move to London. You think if they move to London, that will stop being Jet fans? What happened? I mean, what will it take?
9:30 kickoffs every other week.
What will it take, though? What does it take? Like, I want to be rid of this, but what is it going to take? I'm never going to stop being a Jet fan. It can't happen. If they move the team to Los Angeles, what happens then? Do we become – it's the Los Angeles Jets, like they did to Cleveland when they moved them out of Baltimore. What do we do? Like, when do we stop?
Never.
These goddamn exploding cigars. Like, gotta go, Jake. I'll call back later. Shit.
Maybe they move. That'd be different. But
me and you would be watching the Addison show as he does games now that they're in LA. That's what would happen.
Oh man, pain never ends. Couple things here. Shout out to Eli Betts when we were talking about Neil's parlay. He said he won $30K on a $10 bet once.
Nice.
Says if you Google $10 bet, there's interviews and articles about it. ESPN called him and his local news station out in Denver. So shout out to
I just Googled $10 bet. That's it.
Apparently $10 bet parlay.
Nice hit though.
Tremendous. Extraordinary, to quote Gary. Ben writes in, Neil, you're the man. Jake, best New York show going. Go Jets. Big win needed this Sunday. I'm going to the game. Ben from London. Ben, bring us a win. I know there's so many great Jet fans in the UK. I experienced it firsthand last year. Ben, if you're not on my Patreon, I posted a bunch of info in the Discord about some of the details of the events, but I have here a flyer I could share for everyone on the show. The Saturday meetup, 4 p.m. with Gangrene UK and the UK and Ireland Jets fan club. This will be at Belushi's London Bridge. Starts at 4 till late night for anyone who's going. Also, the tailgate before the game starts at 9 a.m. at Redemption Brewing Company. I was there last year. It was a ton of fun. It's about a 10-minute walk or so from the stadium. I think my logo's even on this thing, even though I'm not. It is. Even though I'm not going this year because the guys at Gangrene UK were nice enough to still include our show because there's a bunch of Asmaniacs who are going this year. So if you're a Jet fan going or you live in Europe and you're making the trip, check it out. Game day tailgate, 9 a.m., Redemption Brewing Company, Saturday party at Belushi's London Bridge, 4 p.m. till late. And then there is a tour of London for anyone who wants to see some of the touristy stuff that's happening on Friday with Gangrene UK. So all that info and all the things you'll see on that tour are on my Patreon/Discord. Go to patreon.com/Jake Asman Show. Big Cho writes in, Jack tried to Venmo Nick, but it won't let me unless I give them Nick's last 4 numbers of his phone number to confirm it's him. Well, I don't know who this Jack guy is, but Nick Shine.
Sounds like a nice guy.
What does this I hear about your last 4 numbers?
If you look right underneath that, there's a link that says pay without confirming. You can do that. But if you need it, it's 2764.
Big Cho doesn't believe it's actually you. He wants confirmation.
All right. Yeah, you can skip that. There's a little link right below it that says pay without confirming. And shout out to Cynthia. I got Cynthia's Venmo. She's in for the tailgate.
Let's go. Amanda says, anyone going to the Yankees game tonight? I was there last night and debating if I should go again. I'm going tonight, Amanda. I'm going. A Yankee win is needed. It's happening. Believe. See you there. Maybe. Bang Mateo, why was I called negative when I said 5 or less wins? Well, you get called negative because every take you've ever had in the 4-year history I've been seeing your comments is negative. So people don't want to hear it. That's why. If you ever had one positive thing to say about the Jets, it'd be the first time. Neil writes in, Gardner Johnson released, played with Glenn, won a Super Bowl with the Eagles, and is an a-hole in a position of need, can be a leader. He won't come play for Glenn, I'd imagine. Proved nobody wants to play with Glenn. I don't think we could say that with him, Neil, but I am surprised in free agency they didn't bring in really anyone besides, I guess, Josh Reynolds.
Yeah, I think they cleared everything out. They did 1-year contracts with a lot of guys. I think you're going to see a different approach in this offseason. I think this is where they clear some of the money. They have more cap room to play with, and you're going to see some guys that fit what they want to do long term if they're here. I'm under the belief that they will be here, but we got to get some things improved. That's the goal right now. Get better week after week. And hey, you looking for a positive? We went from 12 penalties in Miami to 10 against Dallas, so we're trending in the right direction. Let's get it down to 8 against Denver, Jake. Small victories.
Small victories.
Moral victories, maybe?
Don't make me play it. Don't make me play it. You sick son of a bitch.
Play that music. Keep playing it. Keep playing it. I like it. Well, it's been 3 days since I've been busy making money. Well, I don't want to talk about it right now. And our team still looks like they still shit. Nobody gives a shit.
Thank you very much, Beast. We'll check back in with you at some point. What do we have here? Oh, I know what we have. We have the official Neil Call recap from Boomtown. Here we go, folks. Point number 1, Neil is not giving up cigars. Point number 2, the Asmaniacs keep Neil sane. Point 3, prayers up to Neil's mother-in-law. Point 4, Neil's advice cost his son $4,000. Point 5, concerned about Sauce adjusting the diamonds in his teeth. Point 6, concerned the players have cashed it in on the season. Point 7, wondered what it would take to stop being a Jet fan. Boomtown, I'd argue there should be a point 8 somewhere in there. Said he loves Bart Scott.
Wouldn't point 1 be Neil is giving up cigars? Point 2, Neil is not giving up cigars. Well done, Boom.
Let's see. Did I miss any super chats? We got this one, a membership chat from our guy, Craig. My guy's about to head to the airport. Going to miss everyone bad. Can't wait to get back next year. I'm sure I'll still be up at 2:30 a.m. Go Jets. Craig, it was awesome to meet you, or not meet you, see you and your wife again and meet your family this time. I hope they had the best time and you guys had a great time. Sorry the Jets still suck and couldn't give you a win, but man, amazing that Craig is able. Craig, I said this to Craig when I went out to lunch with him and his family last week. Like, I can't even get my friends in Houston to come visit me for the weekend, and they got a free place to stay on my couch. Craig, I've seen twice in the last 6 months, and he lives in Australia.
Yeah. Shout out to him, man. He's dedicated.
Unbelievable. By the way, Big Cho was on the line, and I was going to go to him next, but the Cho man is not there anymore. But I'll tell you who is.
Did he
NY
slouch and
Jets.
slide out of the chair? Did he slouch too much and just?
Perhaps.
Maybe.
NY Jets Florida is there, and he is next. Hello, Mr. Ted.
Mr. Asman, Mr. Shine, late good morning to you. I have
How
a
are you,
question. What's up? I got a question. If you are Glenn and you come in training camp and you know that your team doesn't force turnovers, you would think that would be a point of emphasis, correct? That's an obvious question.
Yeah.
Okay. So then after the first game and the second game and the third game, you would think you would put probably more of an emphasis, if possible, on techniques or how to do turnovers. There can't be many techniques on how to punch a ball out or create a fumble. There's got to be a 10 or so. So after game 5, without the results that you're getting, what's the common denominator? You're getting the same coaching and you're not getting the results.
Players.
All right. Exactly. So I just think that the over hyperventilation of, sorry, Jake, firing the coach every other sentence is just like over the top because
Firing him.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Like, you're looking at him if he has one win as a one and done.
Yeah. You don't think that's fair, Ted? You don't think it's fair if he wins one game?
No, I don't. I think they're gonna.
So they go 1-16. They should retain Aaron Glenn. Do you believe that?
I hope they do better, but I would say.
Well, so do I.
I would say no. You wouldn't fire him, Jake.
What would give you any confidence that this team winning one game, that would be their win total was 6.5. They win one game. They won 5 last year. They won 7 the prior year.
I don't care what Vegas says about 6.5. That's irrelevant to what the players are here.
That's really not relevant. Think this team is one win bad, Ted? That'd be the worst record in Jets history.
No, I don't think they're going to be one win. They may go 3. They may win 3 or 4. They may win 5. I'm not sure. I'm telling you that most of this problem, and I don't agree with Baldy, and I know Baldy played football. He probably knows better than me. I think most of the problem is on the players, and I think, for example, Jamie and Sherwood should sit on the pine for a quarter on Sunday.
Who extended Sherwood?
Okay. I mean, that's on the player again, Jake.
Who hired Steve Wilkes?
Jake. Sherwood is not playing well because of him.
But why is he not playing well when he was voted team MVP last year? You don't think the coaching, the scheme is something?
Jake, you have to ask Sherwood why he can't make a tackle or be in position. He's coached to be in positions to make plays.
I don't know if he's necessarily being coached properly.
That's speculation, Jake. I don't know.
So is your speculation. It's all speculation. We're not there. We're not in the room. We're not experts. We're giving opinions.
I know, but Jake, if you're putting players, okay, you're putting players in a scheme, right? Like Michael Clemens. He's a horrendous player. It's obvious.
Why'd they keep him?
I don't know if they have anything better they can get. And maybe they want
to keep him. They went into the offseason, didn't cut him. He got a pay raise based on playing time last year because he's a day 3 pick, and he got more money. They could have saved money by releasing him. They chose to keep him. Explain that.
Can I finish? I would say they wanted to see what they had. You can go back to a lot of my calls. They wanted to see what they had with this team, and it may be worse than they thought.
So you don't think that's a mistake?
Jake, People make mistakes every second of every day.
All the Jets do is make mistakes. We're trying to see progress, Ted.
Right, but how do you overcome? 14 years of futility is not going to be overcome in 5 games. It's not realistic.
The Patriots, after they moved on from Belichick, hold on, let me recap here, right? Think about the Patriots for a second, right? The team I despise more than any other franchise in professional sports. The New England Patriots lost Tom Brady. Since that point, when they let Brady go to Tampa, where you live, Tom Brady leaves. What happens? New England makes the playoffs 2 years later with Mac Jones. Then they completely implode. Belichick gets fired. They bring in Gerard Mayo. They win 4 games. He gets fired. They hire Mike Vrabel, and now they look like a playoff team. They just went on the road and beat the Bills. So you're talking about how inept the Jets have been. New England was able to post Tom Brady, make the playoffs once with Belichick, then bottom out, fire him, fire another coach, now hire Vrabel. They have a winning record, and they look like a playoff team already, and have already passed the Jets in this quote-unquote rebuild that you're speaking of. Explain it.
I think if we're not there yet, we're at the point where we're finally bottoming out.
What do you mean finally? Last year was bottoming out. They had an all-in season, and they won 5 games.
Yeah, but I'm talking about if we continue to lose, we're going to start selling off players.
But they retained a lot of these players because they thought they could coach them up. They completely misevaluated their coaching abilities.
Jake, you don't know until you get in the building to see what you have.
No. They don't get to play that game. They have to know. That's their job to know. That's why Aaron Glenn was hired. That's why he was hired.
Jake, when you run a business and you take it over a failing company, you don't know what you have until you get in there. That's how it is. You can't just say, "Oh, I need results tomorrow," because Mike Vrabel had results with the Patriots. That's not how it works.
Dude, it's not just Vrabel. Look at all the other first-year coaches that are having success.
Okay, that's 1 year. Let's see if Liam Cohen can do it next year. Liam Cohen can do it next year. I don't know if he can.
Don't give me, can Liam Cohen do it next year? All right. I want to see the Jets show improvement right now. The Jaguars have. They were last in the NFL in turnovers. Now they're in the top 3. In fact, it might be number 1. I forget what Baldinger said when he cited that stat. So I'm sorry, dude. If the Jets win 1 game, Aaron Glenn should go. This is not a 1-win roster. Don't move the goalpost and act like now they're trying to bottom out. That's such BS. You know it, Ted. You know it.
I just think that when you come into a situation like this, you really don't know what you have.
He said that they're going to be smart, disciplined, not commit penalties, not beat themselves. We talked about the defense being a strength. They have a defensive coach, an experienced defensive coordinator. 8 of their 11 starters from last year are back, and one of the new ones they gave $36 million to in Brandon Stevens. That was their decision, Ted. They made that decision. They got to own that.
Of course. And I'm not saying Steve Wilkes is not a great...
Keeping Clemens, keeping Tony Adams, re-signing Isaiah Oliver. These are their decisions.
They have to live with them. I don't know.
What does this team do well right now, Ted? What gives you any confidence that they go 1-16? This head coach should retain his job if he has the worst record in the history of the Jet franchise. Even Adam Gase in a 16-game season in 2020 went 2-14. This would be 1-16 in a 17-game season. And you think they should keep the coach? What?
One of the reasons is who you're going to get to coach. And don't give me the John Hart.
Anyone. Literally, it would have never have been worse if you don't move on from Glenn. Literally, Kotite would have been better. Sala, Gase, Obrick, Lou Holtz. No one at this point would have ever started 1-16. How could you say you would bring him back at that point? That's crazy.
Well, then I'm crazy. All I can say, Jake, is John Harbaugh will not come here.
I don't care then. So Brian Flores, okay? Kevin Stefanski gets fired by the Browns. I'll hire him.
Okay, Jake. That's all I have. Thanks, Jake.
Can you tell me what you like about Glenn, though? I'm very curious.
I love
other than he was a great Jet.
I don't know yet. It's only 5 games, Jake.
That's the only positive that you could say. It's only 5 games. Thank you, Ted.
The practices have been damn good. They are, but...
Oh, my God. Ted, I love you. Jesus.
For those in the chat, I know the show well enough not to intervene when Ted and Jake are going at it.
I love Ted.
You got to sit back and just let it happen.
He got me a birthday cake in Tampa. But my God. Love you, Ted. Anthony Lozerano in the raffle for 5.
We're here to win now, and we're looking forward to it. So any questions?
Ted, my question to Aaron Glenn is, when does the winning start? Nate says, it's not fair how often you bring up the hypothetical about one win and fired that you admit will probably not happen. What do you mean it's not fair? We were debating Aaron Glenn, and he was saying, oh, they got to bottom out. This is all part of the plan. And I go, okay. So if they bottom out and they win one game, you're bringing him back. And the fact that he said yes, that's why I jumped in on that, because that's crazy talk. Like, they got to win some games here, man. They got to win games. Like, Nick, you had them winning 8. Some people had them winning 9. Some people realistically probably had them at 6 or 7. I was at 6. I was at 7. And then Tuesday before week 1, ABT got hurt. I changed it to 6. I don't think they're sniffing 6. That's how bad this has been. Just stuck with my original 4 after they got rid of Rodgers. I don't know how they're getting to 4.
It's not good, man. They got to change some things. Like I said, they got to finish drives. We haven't seen them. The one game we saw them play who they want to be was the Steelers game. That's when it was close enough. That's when they were running the ball 39 times. My key to victory for the Jets is 40 rushing attempts. You want to win, you run the ball 40 times. It means you weren't down multiple scores. It means you were in the game. You're able to ride this offensive line, who is much better at run blocking than they are pass blocking. But even that being said, the quarterback is week after week has the most amount of time of anyone in the NFL to throw. So it's not on the offensive line. You're not expected to block for 3.5 seconds. You know, most release times are between 2.5 seconds for a quarterback. So that to me says he's not decisive, or he's not getting his reads right, or he doesn't trust the guys to get open besides Garrett. But I think the emergence of Mason Taylor coming on will help. And hopefully that's somebody they get the ball to and they implement in the game plan early on instead of just in garbage time. Like, get that guy going early now and open other things up. Get the play action going under center. Stop putting Fields in the pocket. There's ways to put the advantage to our side. And being in a close one-score game allows us to have the identity that Glenn, Angstrand have for this offense. They just have to do it. We have to stop the fumbles, man. They back-breaking fumbles by Allen at the 1, Hall at the 9, and then everyone's like, God damn, here we go again. How about change the narrative? You want to change the narrative? Finish the goddamn drive with a touchdown in the first quarter. Spark the team instead of being what puts the flame out.
Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be.
Wouldn't that be something?
It'd be a nice, nice bunch of guys.
So Jay writes in, Jake is a clown. Well, I'll tell you what, Jay.
Bye, Jay.
You tune into the show every day and you comment, you write mean things about me. I'll make it easy for you. You're not going to be able to comment anymore. Your day is done. Farewell.
Now look what you've done. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
Farewell. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to your remaining telephone calls, which aren't actually telephone calls.
Who's next?
Black Gypsy is next. Hello, Mr. Gypsy.
Yeah. Some of the people that watch this show, dog, they're just delusional. Like some of the I'll give you
to be fair, we are all delusional because we continue to invest this much time in this franchise.
We are. We watched for positive or negative takes from how the game was the week before. So when there's a negative take, people just don't want to hear that shit. They want to live in their delusion, which is just nuts. I'll give you an example, which is I'm not really a Nate fan. So White Gypsy, when he comes in and he says shit like, we get rid of our Knicks coach when they had a winning season, but we should have patience for Glenn when it's been epically bad. I don't want to hear shit he has to say. Like, shut up, bro. Pick a side. You get to play the middle whenever you feel like playing the middle. I hate that shit with our fans. Either we're good or we're not good. We've been epically bad this year. So everybody that has positive takes, suck it. I don't want to hear that shit, bro. Facts are facts. We suck ass. Defense sucks ass. Offense is meh. Like, we need to live in some type of reality because what we're going to do again is if Glenn wins 2 games this year, which is what it looks like, we're going to go through the season next year. And what's our expectations next year? Is he going to win 4 games? Is he going to win 5 games? And then it's the 3rd year. Is he going to win? Nah, bro. Bring in McCarthy. Give me someone that's won. I don't want to play with the loser coaches. I don't want to play with the guys that were I love Glenn, awesome Jet, but yo, you suck as a coach. Through 5 games, I have seen you do nothing. There's teams that have lost badly, but you have like hope in the coaching where you're like, yo, I can see what he's trying to do. We have no identity. We have no strategy. We're just playing like backyard football, it seems, and just not being able to do anything. Like defense don't do nothing, offense don't do nothing. Nick called it, or we called it week before, about what Ferguson would do in that week. You should have bet that, Nick. You were almost
part of
dead
my
on.
it was part of my 10. That was the 2 I hit.
Yeah.
Over on
Yeah,
catches
like,
and touchdown.
Which just says everything. When we're saying like, oh, we're going to win games, how are we going to win games? If every team knows what we're going to do, and when they come out to the field, they score and we don't, how do we win games? How do you want to keep a coach that doesn't adjust anything or say, yo, listen, my DC really sucks. He needs to, like, I want someone to catch the blame. I want someone to catch some fire because Aaron Glenn is catching all the fire when really it should be Wilkes. Wilkes should be the person that he should be like, yo, man, you got to get your shit together. Wilkes should be in a press conferences being like, I'm trying to teach these guys something and they're not understanding. So at least we have something to talk back about because otherwise it's just, we suck and we can't say anything about it.
If it doesn't get better, you're going to see the bye week. That's when you make a drastic change like that. You do it when you have the extra time to bring in the coach, and also your shirt is perfect for talking about the Jets, by the way.
Yeah, exactly. It's not a good sign, bro. It's not.
I would say if there's going to be a move made, you do it at the bye week where you have the extra time to implement, make the changes, get your feet wet, and because none of the guys who would get elevated to that position have experience as play callers, so you don't want to do that change on a Monday and say, hey, you got to call your first game of the defense on Sunday. You want to give them the extra couple days.
So bye week comes, right? Are you bringing up another coordinator? Or are you AG? Or are you calling the defense yourself? Which would you do? Because
if I'm AG, like I said earlier, I'm not putting it on me because if you're AG and you put it on you and it still doesn't get good, you're the next one on the chopping block because you took the responsibility over. And if it falls flat with the players that aren't doing well,
so I agree,
now
Nick.
it's on you.
But real quick, if he's thinking that way, he's not the guy he says he is.
Exactly.
Right?
That's my point. If you can't take it over and do something,
lose situation. You know, if you make that
but
move,
it's not. But what if he's what? But he should have the mentality. I'm a winner. I've been a part of these turnarounds as a player and a coach. If I need to step in, I'm going to step in and do it. Like that's. If he's thinking about covering his ass in year one, then he's not the guy that he's told himself. He's not a leader. He's a fraud. If that's what he's thinking, so he has to step in and take over his unit that got him hired in the first place because he was a successful DC that got buy-in from players and had the ultimate leadership skills that got him to be the CEO of the franchise.
That was my whole thing. He came in as a defensive coach. He talked shit all through preseason about being a defensive coach and being able to coach guys up. Now, your defense is not being coached well. You take over and you're not good. I have way more respect for you because you took it in your hands and tried your best that you could do. If we're just going to sit and let the second half of the season go by where he knows his guy is bad, but he's just going to let him do that, I have no respect for him. I want him gone. So when Nick and all them say, that's why we want him gone, because I can't respect you if that's what you're going to do when you talked so much shit about being that guy from the beginning of the season. Had he not said that, he would have had the whole year from me. He would have been, it's a rebuild season. Fuck it, let's see what happens. Yep. But he opened his mouth and said that we're going to win now. So I want to win some games. Like, I mean, if you're not, then
what coach is getting hired and saying in their first year, we're in a rebuild? Like anyone who gets hired is going to say, we believe we can win. We can believe we can change things here.
I'm saying we're in a rebuild.
That's going to be the message for any new coach. It's not just ours. Any coach who's going in saying, we're going to implement our things. We believe we can coach this team up. They all say it. We're just tunnel visioned on the Jets, but all coaches say that.
Wouldn't you want to hear this, though? Because it's always the same thing with the media, and we always shit on them when they're coaches. Same thing we do with Saleh, same thing we do with Gates. If a coach comes in and says, look, this team needs to be rebuilt from my vision, the way I want to see this team play. It's going to take a little bit of time, people. That's it. Like, he covers his bases still. He's still trying to win. Every coach is trying to win. But tell us the truth. Because when you lie to us, it just infuriates the fans, which ends up getting you fired anyway. So it's a double-edged sword. At least come in and say, look, these guys are not good. These guys are not what I really want. I'm going to try and coach them to see where I can get them where I want them. But I'm going to have to make some changes along the season. And it might be a tough season for you guys. But we're trying our best to do something. It gives us hope. This right now, we have no hope at all. Like, there's nothing that he can do for the rest of this season that's going to give me hope other than him taking over the defense and them doing better. Because I honestly I want McCarthy. I wanted McCarthy for 3 years, and everybody said I'm stupid. McCarthy sucks. McCarthy has had a winning record for almost every year he's coached football. Like
when his quarterback's been healthy, absolutely.
yeah,
Now,
like
Black Gypsy, do you hear that? I hear a rumble.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
all right, Nate, what nonsense do you have to say? Let's go.
Right,
'Cause I know you're going to give me some
no
nonsense.
How are you, my friend? How are you?
How you
I'll
doing?
give you credit. I'll give you credit because you said from week one, Wilkes was the issue and you wanted him fired, which I thought was kind of an overreaction, but it's totally, I made this description on like BG show. It's like, you ever play Madden?
Yeah, I play tons of Madden.
All right, so you know these like new, I can't play Madden anymore because there's these like 16-year-old demons where it's like,
And they cheat.
they'll do all these audibles. They got mid blitzes, this guy's dropping, blah, 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 snap, you get sacked. And I come in and I'm just calling like coach suggestion, cover 2-man. So we look like we're calling coach suggestion against like 16-year-old demons, right? So I'm totally with you like defensively, right? I'm just not now I'm going to give Glenn the chance. Like I told Jake on last call, now I'm going to give him the chance to coach, right? So like I want him to take over the defense and all that, but I just don't like how much it's all about if this fire Glenn. Yeah, if we look like this every single week, which is like nearly impossible because then it would be Rich Kotite. We would just, but I think we have a coach. Like he looks more hands-on coaching-wise, right? It didn't work last week, but like people told me Rich Kotite was always smoking a cigar and not doing his shit at practice. At least we have like a somewhat proactive coach. That's why I'm just.
Nate,
Go ahead.
You can be hands-on and still suck, bro.
Say it again.
Like
I didn't hear it.
you can be a hands-on coach and still suck.
Sure.
Like, as it is right now, he sucks. Like I don't want him fired. Like I want a Jets player to come and fix our team. I need accountability. I need a strategy, and I need details. I need him to tell us things that doesn't make us say "fuck you" in the press conference, because that's what he does.
I'm with you. But all right, but it sucks that we're 0-5. He can't say anything in a press conference. It's going to be "fuck you" for the most part. It's not going to be like, "Oh yeah, that makes me feel really good." We're 0-5 and we look terrible. So there's nothing that's going to make us feel good in a press conference, and he's required to do them.
There's things we can say. We can put our players accountable. Like, yo, Sherwood did not do his coverage. My players were bad this week. My guys were not prepared. It's my fault. Don't tell me you're going to go check tape, because checking tape makes me want to punch you in the face.
All right, but that's fine. But his words in a press conference don't matter. That's just all we get to see, unfortunately. It's like 10 minutes out of the 24-hour day of him coaching. So like we're gonna find out on the football field over the next 12 weeks, and that's all I want to do. I want to talk more about what's going on the football field and how we can fix it, rather than if this keeps happening, fire him. Yeah, obviously, like if we fumble every single week and have penalties every single week, and the defense literally looks like, I mean, this is the worst defense I've ever seen in my life.
Ever.
So yeah, if that happens every single week, but that's the super strong if. That's like saying if Tom Thibodeau keeps guarding. That's like saying if Tom Thibodeau keeps guarding pick and rolls like it's 1940 and doesn't know how to guard the double stagger, we're gonna fire him, which they did.
All right, look. So because you brought up Thibodeau, Thibodeau got us a step better every year, and you wanted Thibodeau gone, right?
But do you remember why? Do you remember why? I gave reasons.
Still, you said he's not a winner.
Right? Do you remember? No. Do you remember why?
I can't remember now.
It was but it's strictly about how he guards screens and his offense being completely stagnant, not using the dribble handoff, which is like that's what every offense uses. It's like not using RPOs or having a fast quarterback and not using read option these days in today's NBA.
Then we can use the same mental that you used against Glenn and Wilkes.
Okay. No. I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. I'm with you 100%. But let them like. Tom Thibodeau, I love Tom Thibodeau and what he brought here, and he's the reason why the Knicks are what they are and why certain players are here. But what we saw we saw it in Chicago, we saw it for almost 20 years of his coaching style, and nothing changed. You know what I'm saying? It's like Rex. If we kept going to Rex and he kept doing the same thing every year and nothing's changing, or whatever the example is, that's why I wanted Tibbs gone. It's not because I dislike him as a coach, because he can lift the floor of any NBA team. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of easy because he gets his team to play hard and play good defense and get up in the ball, right? But it's like,
so how long?
He didn't keep up with what's going on in the league.
Right,
he didn't make any adjustments. He got cooked in that Pacers series, coaching-wise. You know it.
He did. He got out-coached. But still, he's a good coach. So I would have kept him.
Yeah.
Jake, what you're mad about Jake for is the hypothetical. The hypothetical is factual, though, because through 5 games, we've seen nothing. Now, if the second half of the season comes and he only wins 2 games,
Yes.
He has to go, bro.
But
Like,
you realize this, we're kind of on the same page, but I should have made the how often more capital. I just don't understand this. Like, are we going to talk about it 4 hours a day for the next 3 months? If this happens, we're going to fire him. That's all we talk about for the last 4 hours. Every caller,
because we
and then
don't
every
see
caller
any
is
improvement.
I keep getting asked about it. I keep getting asked
There's
about
no
it.
improvement.
Jake, I'm not blaming you. I'm saying I was about to say every caller is your parent, so whatever you say, they're gonna run with that narrative, and then someone from Glenhead gonna call and be like, you know what, Jake, if this guy doesn't want him, I want him fired. Then everybody repeats what
Stop.
you say.
People are talking about it. Like literally, Brian
It's all
Baldinger
over
got
just
asked,
media.
are you worried about Aaron Glenn looking in over his head? And that's what he said. So that is concerning to me when a guy who actually gets a paycheck from the Jets still among all his jobs is that open and honest that this is falling on the head coach in his opinion. Like, it's a real thing, Nate. And look, the best thing I could say for Glenn again is there's 12 games left for him to win games, look competent, show improvement, and we're not having this conversation. I dread this conversation. I don't want to make Aaron Glenn be associated with Kotite and Gase and Holtz as the worst coaches we've ever had. He wanted this job. He's a Jet. I don't want that conversation.
I guess I just want more nuance. And we were looking, there's another show talking about who else on the defensive staff. I even looked on the defensive staff. Our defensive staff has nobody with any experience coaching wise for the most part. They're all former players that played 3 or 4 years ago. So there's not even anyone that can step up and do the job outside of Aaron Glenn. I forgot Nick Shine was even on the show. What's up, Nick Shine? But I just want. I'm probably being selfish, but I just hate hearing the same thing over and over. Where if this, then he's gonna get fired. Yeah, no shit. Like if this is every single week, yeah, he's gonna get fired.
Yeah, but so far, Nate, to be fair to anyone feeling that way, since week 1, it's gotten worse, not better. It's not like they're showing improvement that we could point to. Like I even asked you the last time you were on, like what can you point to, and you admitted, well, I guess I'm kind of grasping at straws. Like that was your own words, and you're a positive guy, as is Nick.
Dude,
there's not a whole lot to grab onto to feel good about.
The offense. If the defense didn't look this bad, we would have something to talk about. But the defense is so bad.
A massive.
He's a defensive
You're in a hypothetical.
Dude, he's been terrible. I'm hearing you that. I'm just saying, because the defense is so bad, we can't even see a positive because it's that. We've given up 35 points a game. What, three times?
That's the concern, though. He's a defensive coach who hired the defensive staff, hired Wilkes.
So I'm with you. I want to see him take over, and I want to see I want to see 7 guys at the line when you talked about it. I want to see 2 linebackers at the A gap and 1 dropping back, like we saw Jacksonville get that pick 6 and force turnovers. I want to see something different and hopefully not Steve Wilkes calling the play and then Andre Sisco coming down 10 seconds before it snapped and might basically tell the quarterback, I'm about to blitz. And then 5 guys get blocked by the 5 offensive linemen. That I do want to see changes, but I'm hoping he does those changes. And there's time and there's practices, and that's what I'm saying. It's going to happen. I would assume at this point it's going to happen because you even admitted, Jake, that you don't think it's going to happen. You don't think we're going to see the same thing every week. You don't think this is Kotite, right?
No, I don't.
So.
I said earlier in the show, if I had to bet my life if Aaron Glenn is the head coach next year, I would say he is. But Nate, you have to acknowledge why people are talking about this. It's a real thing. No Jet coach has ever started like this. So that's
Jake, it's terrible. It's terrible.
Right. So that's all I'm saying. So
Shine said it perfectly, right? And he said it perfectly last week. Watch what's going to happen when Dallas comes in. They're going to out-scheme us. Now, if every offensive coordinator can come in and out-scheme your defensive coordinator, how do you win a game?
Yeah.
How?
Yeah. No, I thought
think Sean Payton is going to put on a coaching clinic
Clinic.
Sunday on
It's gonna be a
how to
clinic.
run offense against a team that's outmatched. It's going to be misdirections, rollouts, trick plays, reverses. It's going to be just positive play after positive play because we're going to be out of position time and time again.
Yep.
Prove me wrong, Jet. You can't.
That's all I got. That's all
Gypsy,
I got.
Thank you.
White Gypsy.
Ending on a Nick was right. Way to go out. Nate won't do that though.
No, Nate, good call. I totally understand why Nate doesn't want to hear about it, but I'm just I think Spencer Green had a good super chat here. He goes, to be fair, Nate, I agree with you. It's crazy to think hypothetically. However, we've been asked for 15 years. I see both sides. Firing Glenn makes 0 sense to me either. But no one's saying firing him now. We're talking about the doomsday scenario where the guy who's already off to the worst start in Jets history as any first-time coach, it never gets better. And they win 2 games. Like, that's what we're talking about here.
Yeah. And I don't know if Woody's going to have the patience that I have. So we know how Woody gets. We know Woody keeps his ear to the ground with the fan base, with Twitter. And it's just win some games, make some changes, improve. You see what you have, you know what you can do. I always say this. One of the biggest things you have to do as a coach, you have to know what your team can do. But more importantly, you have to know what your team can't do. And it's your job as a coach to scheme and mask your own deficiencies because you know the opposition is going to look to exploit them. And that's where we're not gaining ground. And that's a huge red flag. Also, most cordial rumble ever between Gypsy and Nate. No personal attacks. It was very well done by both.
Those guys are very good debaters. Black Gypsy's an excellent caller, by the way. The fact that he's now a regular, he will not be a 16th seed in Asmaniac Madness. You guys on the committee are going to be tasked with finding a proper seating for that man. And wait, we might need to start Asmaniac Madness in December, though, if this Jet season keeps going where it's going.
Asmaniac Madness. That's the only playoffs we have to look forward to.
All right. If you're on hold, I promise we'll get to you, but we got to keep the calls tight because I'm up against it. But Daz, you have your super chat here. He says, update, me and Beast are now best friends. We had a lovely chat yesterday about how disgusting it is for Charles Gorman to change teams. He still needs to unblock me, however. Spencer is also my buddy. Beast, is this true that you and Daz are now friends? Oh, God.
Say hello to Alf. Hey, Alf. Oh, hello there. Hey, this is Alf's a new guy here. He's all the way from the great planet Melmac. Yeah, I've heard about your planet blowing up, Melmac. What are you doing here for a living? Oh, I'm just here to, talk football. Sure you are, Alf. Hello. Say hello to the great Jake Asman there, Alf. This, my friend, is a great man. Sure, he's from the great planet called Melmac, but our boys need to do 3 things. 1, 3 foot, get your foot out your ass, get your head out of the toilet, stop bobbing for turds, and wake up and smell the coffee. Inhale.
Yeah, it is.
The Beast playbook for his call today.
Yeah, I didn't have him puppeteering Alf on my bingo card. I don't know if anybody did.
Jimbo, WTF that I just tuned. Matt, this show has been all Jets the entire time besides that one Beast call, and that happens to be what Jimbo just tuned into.
Yeah.
Amazing.
An hour, 46 minutes of all Jets, and then he tuned in 30 seconds and sees a guy playing with an Alf doll.
Unreal. Show's winding down. Last chance to get in if you want to win a signed Klecko helmet and enter this upcoming's weekly raffle. We got a Bart Scott signed jersey. We have a Sauce signed jersey, and a Justin Fields signed jersey as our weekly prizes. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls. Adam is next, and then Jets Johnny, followed by Cannonball Eric to wrap us up. Hello, Adam.
Oh, my. I'll tell you what. Black Gypsy's awesome. Love it. So good. Such a good caller. How do you follow up someone like that? And Nate was great, too, of course.
Well, you're following Beast, Adam, so don't worry. I think your call here will be excellent.
Yeah,
Thank
that was
you.
the buffer. That was the reset button for you.
When he's not cutting into other callers' time, he's cutting the cheese. So,
Well
at
done.
any rate, hey, look. I mean, if this season's a wash, I'm team hard reset, right? How can you make this many bad decisions in 1 year and then be trusted to make any in the following, right? Like, I hope that's not the case, but if they're like less than 4 wins, or 4 wins or less, I don't know why we're sticking around with any of it. Muji included, full hard reset. Maybe Jaime goes too anyway. Maybe who the heck knows? All the way down the chain, you blow it all up and start over the way it probably should have happened this year. Because I think what they were doing, cliches aside, they were trying to fix the plane while they were flying it, and it blew up in their face. And this roster is flawed. They haven't figured out a way to scheme around their weaknesses. And you see a lot of checked out players that aren't listening. You got Glenn kind of laying it out there saying that he's kind of an administrator, not a coach. And I think he is a coach. We thought he was in Detroit. Maybe he was in Detroit. Maybe we don't know. And then that goes back to this whole 33rd team assessment. How did they assess Glenn in the end? If he's not capable of like rolling up his sleeves and figuring out tactically how to solve things, he's going to leave it in Wilkes' hands. Again, it's a judgment call. Wilkes hasn't been able to keep a job. Why would you trust him with it? I think he's just too comfortable. I think he's like using his Jets cachet at the moment to try and get goodwill while he tries to get some wins. So I hope that things get turned around. I think that with all the negativity around this game in London, it could be an opportunity for a weird surprise. They may accidentally not make a ton of mistakes and be competitive, and you never really know. But at this point, it's really hard to see.
I don't see that, Adam. This has Bills week 2 written all over it to me. This is going to
Probably.
be Peyton.
So-
Peyton's the best coach we've gone against this year. His offense will be rolling against us, and if we don't make changes and we don't get turnovers, we're going to get steamrolled because they're just going to march down the field time and time again.
It's actually not a terrible matchup if the Jets defense played like we thought they were going to be this year. Because it's not like the Broncos offense is like prolific, and the Jets could be able to like run the ball and kind of like have like long possessions, and it could be a lower scoring game. Because like Bo Nix is not a guy who's going to like torch you. He's having the greatest statistical year, but everyone's
he will be efficient though, and he will run the offense. This is going to come down to Peyton against Wilkes, and
agreed. Yes, that's why I'm saying like it's a bad matchup because of Wilkes and our defense being ass. But like going into the year, I didn't look at this game as like, oh no, there's no way we can win a neutral site game against Denver. Like I didn't look at it like that, but now I do because of how bad our defense has been.
Yeah, I guess the other thing psychologically, again, like if Peyton prepares his team, this won't be a factor. But like the players could be overlooking the Jets and just being like, "Wow, look, we can beat anybody. We beat the Eagles. Now we're gonna go multiple time zones away against a team that we're gonna, run the risk of underestimating." And you never really know. I mean, the line is not 11, right? The line's like, what is it, 8 now? If you were saying before,
7 right now in FanDuel.
7. When what was it? When Buffalo was playing New Orleans, it was 11. So it could be a lot worse, and it may very well be. But I think the other thing that I think we all know is that, and this is the only shred of forgiveness I have on the matter, is the team has had a lot of injuries. If all the players come back like they're supposed to, this may look like a fundamentally better team because you just happen to have some better talent, right? If JJ comes back, if Quincy is back, if Brownlee comes back, this may look like a very different defense with the talent infusion in those key spots.
Good.
Right? We don't know. And if that's the benefit of the doubt that we can give for this week, that's fine. It may still be a blowout, but if you may see improvement, even though the score won't show it. And you got to hope
it's not improvement. You got to be in the game. You got to be competitive.
You can't make one good play a quarter as a defense. You can't get one stop and then 3rd and 16 we let them convert. Like we don't have the consistency. We don't have the guys making plays. We don't have the coach putting them in the right position. It's very difficult. And Jay Quest, I did not say the Broncos offense is better than the Bills. The Broncos coach is better than that. So the Bills run on Josh Allen and the run game with Cook. I just think this is going to be a nickel and dime you game where Peyton says, I can get 10 yards in 3 plays time and time again, and they're just going to beat us down methodically. And that's what you're going to see. You're going to see a coach cooking with play call after play call, and Jets fans getting frustrated because the Jets are continuously out of position.
But
that's what I see.
We do practice well.
The practices have been damn good. They are, but...
Thank you, Adam. All right, let's go to Jets Johnny and then Cannonball Eric and then Klecko signed helmet raffle to wrap this baby up. Jets Johnny, what do you got?
Jake, what's up, man? How you doing today? Nick, what's good, man?
Let me clarify something to you, though, right away. My prediction before the season started was 6 wins. It was at 7 because I wanted to buy into Glenn, and I started to believe everything he was saying all summer about coaching and accountability, and I really thought there was talent on this team and they can maximize it. So I finished with 6. I was going to go 7. When they lost AVT, I said to Nick Shine, I'm docking my win total to 6. So I was at 6. You said I was at 4. I was at 4 saying I smell 4 wins after they got rid of Rodgers. I eventually got up to 7, down to 6 before week 1. There you go.
Right. No, I know. I was giving you a little, I was joshing with you, but there was people who predicted 4 wins, right? There was people who were saying that we were going to win 4 games. There was people that were saying that we weren't going to win any games. But my point with this whole thing with AG, right, is that no matter who you were, unless you were like really in your head about the Jets, nobody thought we were winning more than 7 or 8 games, right? Like nobody was predicting 10 wins with seriousness. Nobody was predicting 15 wins with any kind of seriousness. If we were being real with ourselves, we were saying 6, maybe 8 games if we get lucky, right?
But do you remember why we were saying that?
Because we believed in AG. We heard what he was saying.
We were saying that because we thought Justin Fields was going to be a problem. The offense not having weapons. And they were not going to be able to score points. We thought the defense would be the catalyst to them rebounding and doing what they did 2 years ago with Simeon, Zach Wilson, and Tim Boyle and being able to still win 7 games because they were 3rd in the league in defense that year. They were a much better team. That's why we thought they were only going to win 6 or 7. If you told Jet fans the offense would be 3rd in the NFL in rushing right now, what would their record be? If I told you that 5 games in, you wouldn't have said 0-5. No way.
No. Nobody would have predicted 0-5. Like you would think we would just get lucky. Like the same way the Titans just got lucky against Arizona, right? They fluked their way into a win. They had no business winning that game at all, right? And they won a game. So you would assume that that would happen for us. But that's gonna happen for us this year. We're gonna win a game that we're not supposed to win, and we're gonna win a couple games that we're supposed to win, right? So like I think everybody just needs to relax. It's 5 games. I got a whole list. There's no point on going through all of it, but there's a list, you can look it up, of coaches who started their career 0-5, who've won Super Bowls, who've gone to Super Bowls, right? So if we were talking, if we were 49er fans in 2007, you would, or 2017, everybody would be freaking out because we were 0-5 and they would be wanting to fire Kyle Shanahan, right? So like I'm just saying, like, give it a little time, man. Let him cook. You don't want to blow things up in the beginning, right? When you start up, right? So he's trying to give what's his name, Steve Wilkes, a chance to cook. Now it hasn't happened. And I think like this week going into London, you have to do something different. Like you can't keep doing the same thing. You've given him a month. It hasn't worked out. You gave him, game 5. It didn't work out. Now AG has to, now he's got to put his nuts on the table and say, yo, I'm the head coach, and do something. So if I don't see something different, and it doesn't mean that the outcome is going to be different, right? Like we can still get absolutely mollywopped by Denver because they're a better team than us and they got an established head coach. But if we see them playing more zone, if we see that they're, mixing up the blitzes and stuff like that, I'll be all right with that, because that shows me that AG is self-aware and is doing what he needs to do. But I think it's way too early to be making these bold assumptions about AG and that he's not this and he can't do that on 5 games. It's like 5 podcasts in, your shit wasn't like this. You know what I mean? Like you build over time. So, let's let him cook a little bit. Let's see what he can do. But I need to see changes this week. And if I don't see changes this week in the play style, not necessarily the results, but the play style, then I'll be more on board with, okay, this guy doesn't know what he's doing and he's not showing us signs of improvement. But until then, like we need to relax a little bit, because I remember in the offseason, we were all on AG's nuts talking about how great he sounded and he was this and he was that.
And
So
it's been all
let's just
talk. It's been all talk so far.
I mean, but what was he supposed to do, right? Like was he supposed
he
to
was
go
supposed to come in and clean up the issues he said he was going to clean up. He hasn't
right,
done it yet.
facts. Right. No, he hasn't done it, but it's also been 5 games. So that's my only thing. I'm just
Right.
saying, like,
It's only been
let's
5
just
games, but Jets Johnny has been getting progressively worse. So we're going to have the conversation because 5 weeks in, the Jets have played 1 complete game. They've been blown off the field twice. They've been dominated in 3 of the 4 quarters of the other 2. They had 4 sacks week 1. They've had 2 all season since. They have not forced a turnover, becoming the first team in NFL history to be winless through 5 games and not have a turnover. They have a defensive coach and an experienced defensive coordinator. We know the talent is not perfect. No one thought it was this bad. They look like they quit on the field in that second quarter against the Cowboys. Oh, let's talk about the offense. They're averaging 6 points per game and 170 total yards in the first 3 quarters of games since the Pittsburgh game. So I'm sorry, man. I understand your point. And yes, Aaron Glenn gets more time. I've said it 1,000 times.
right.
Here and blindly just say it's going to be fine. He's going to figure it out. I have no reason to believe that. That's my fear. We are 5 games in. It is getting worse, not better. And the only thing I could say that's positive is that he still has 12 games to hopefully rectify things. But it's not good right now. Can you acknowledge that? It's awful.
No, facts. Yeah, facts. It's terrible. It looks like shit. But also the one thing I would say with that, where it's been getting progressively worse, we had all off season to prepare for Pittsburgh. We had Pittsburgh on our mind. Now AG, this is his first year. He's got to build game plans. Tana Angstrand, same thing, game plan. So just give him time to figure his shit out. I really like I think it was Gator was saying, let's give him to the bye week, right? Like forget everything up until the bye week, and then after the bye week we can judge him. We've seen coaches been able to implement a lot of changes over a bye week. We believe in AG. Like let's just pump the brakes a little bit.
Do they
That's all
have
I'm
a
saying.
win by the bye week? It's Denver, Carolina, Cincinnati.
We can beat Cincinnati. Carolina's pretty good. That'll be a tough game, but we could beat them. I mean, this week against you got to be stupid to pick the Jets, but also like this is a Vegas special waiting to happen, man. Like I'm telling you, bro. And then also Denver could not show up. They could be lagging if they play a bad game. We could be in it. Like we're right there. You know what I mean? Like we're a player two away in all these
Yeah.
games,
We
except for
don't fumble
Buffalo.
early and give those drives away.
Yeah.
It's a
That's
different
what
game.
bad teams do. Greg Zerline doesn't miss
No,
enough
100%.
kicks last year.
100%.
Like
But
Yeah.
when you're looking, if you're looking for a positive, Angstram's calling good games to start. And then he gets handcuffed and we're down 2 scores. If we finish these drives and we don't fumble, it's not like we're going 3 and out time and time again. We're putting drives together. They're just not finishing it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there is a little bit of glimmer of hope. Can they do that consistently? Can we not fumble at the 1? Can we not fumble at the 9? Can we tie the game up at 10? And now we can still coach the game that we want to coach offensively, finish the drives. It's
Here's the
players
problem,
messing
though,
up.
Nick. Like, here's the problem, right? It's a first-time head coach who looks like he's in over his head. This is why you hire
That's
someone
fair.
with previous
That's fair to
experience.
say right now.
Because we don't know if it's ever going to get better. There's no track record for Aaron Glenn. If Aaron Glenn never played for the New York Jets, what would we be grabbing onto as reasons for support? He'd be like every other first-time defensive coordinator hire that this franchise has made, minus Case, who never should have been hired. And that's really all we have to go off of, right? That's it. They've not had an experienced, proven commodity at coach since Bill Parcells. And Woody continues to insist on hiring these first-time coordinators, which is a huge gamble. And it's only getting harder now than it was even when like Rex took over and was successful coming from a DC coordinator role, which is redundant, from coming from being a DC, because the playoff drought is what it is now. And like the heightened pressure and the same old Jets of it all has never been louder. And the Jets have never been viewed in a worse light. Like they're the worst franchise in professional sports right now.
Yeah. And to mention to Jets, Johnny mentioned earlier, Joe Gibbs started 0-5, Tony Dungy started 0-5, Bill Walsh started 0-7, and Jimmy Johnson started 0-8. So
I'll do you
there
one
have
better.
been
Zach Taylor 0-11, Chuck Noll 0-13, Kyle.
I don't think
Hamilton.
Zach Taylor's very good, to be fair. He's Joe
I mean, he
Burrow.
made a Super Bowl, but yeah, no, I feel you. I feel you on that. But yeah, Dan Quinn, another guy who's not necessarily the best, but made a Super Bowl. So there's plenty of examples of dudes who have started bad, and have gone on to success. So
He
that's
gets
my
12
only
games to
thing.
show us something. Would you
Yeah.
agree, though, Jets, Johnny? If this, because Ted, I thought was insane when he was like, if they win one game, I'm bringing Glenn back. And I said, why? And he had no
No.
answer. They go
No,
1-16. Are you bringing the head coach back?
No, fact. I
See how
mean,
crazy you are. Yeah.
No. See, listen, this is my thing, right? Because I think we're gonna win a game, right? Like we're gonna win a couple games. We might win 2-3 in a row. So like I think by the end of the year we'll have around 5 or 6, and there'll be enough there where you say, okay, this guy can win games. Let's see what he can do next year
Yeah.
when they have more of their players and their system going. But you win one game, you got to be out of here, bro. There's no debate about that. You go 0-17. I mean, good riddance, bro. But it 2-3. I'm like, but one game, you're gone, bro. So yeah, we're in agreement there, Jake.
Jets, Johnny, well done. Good call. And we have something Gorman related. Jets, Johnny, and I are cooking up. So stay tuned.
I talked
this
to him the
afternoon.
other day in my Discord and threw a little assistance his way. I had something for him.
Look at this traitor, Gorman, Colts fan.
And how about last night, Jake? How about last night when the Yankees are down 6-1? He makes a video declaring the season's over. He's quitting on everything right now. If he had a job, he'd quit that too.
Gorman is such a fraud. He has no direction. He doesn't know his ass from his chin right now, Nick Shine. Take a look at everyone here at Charles Gorman's most recent video titles here. Look at this. He's all over the place. Man is losing his mind. As far as I'm concerned, it's over. Yankees are getting killed by the Blue Jays. Then he did a whole video on them winning. And then he did like 3 different videos trying to explain his Colts fandom. Just keeps getting worse and worse for Chucky.
And I hope the guy Gator pulls off the idea that I texted you guys. I mean, that might be my best idea ever.
Ladies and gentlemen, couple super chats, then one last call. Last chance to get in on the raffle for the signed Klecko helmet. Papa Jet, who has the number 73 in his username for Klecko, he is in for one. Spencer Green is in there. He says, last one for me today. Stop talking about sorry-ass Gorman. He belongs with the Buzzards. To hell with Gorman, that traitor. Strong.
In caps, too. That's serious talk right there.
Big fella, did you see the Ravens-Chargers trade? I did not.
Owa, defensive end, Owa, went to the Chargers. OWEH, I think his name is. And I think
should
they
I care
sent the
about this
safety
trade?
back to Baltimore.
Okay.
No, but I mean, Interesting. The Harbaugh brothers making the trade.
Wheeling and dealing.
John is saying, "Hey man, if we can't win, you win."
Michael,
Collusion.
he checks in. I've been a fan of this effing team for 57 years. I'm done waiting. I want to see wins. We are the same old Jets until proven otherwise. That's why I thought Glenn really incited the fan base with the "we're not the same old Jets" when you fell to 0-3. I thought that was a dumb move from a guy who should understand that you are the same old Jets till you win. The fans, we're the ones you get to say you're not the same old Jets. Or Rex Ryan could say it when he goes to back-to-back AFC title games and he starts his press conference off by saying, "Same old Jets," right back in the AFC title game. Like, that's when you could say it.
Yeah. And to mention the other coaches earlier, I know Dave Briggs said those are Hall of Fame coaches. Yeah, but you didn't know they were Hall of Fame coaches when you start 0-5 and 0-7 and 0-8. The point is that the organizations had the patience to let those guys develop and become Hall of Fame coaches, even though they had horrific starts. I think if you look at the Jets roster, it's not very impressive when you compare it to other teams. We have some nice pieces, but we don't have enough. I think that's part of the issue as
You
well.
had them winning 7 or 8 games, though, Nick. Like, it's easy to say that now when they're 0-5. I don't believe that to be true. I think they do have talent. I think they've been poorly coached. I've seen Jamie and Sherwood be voted team MVP. Now he looks like he's an unrosterable player. I think that's coaching. Michael Carter, I've seen him be one of the best young nickels in the league. They extended him, and it was a good move. And now he can't play all of a sudden. All of a sudden, Sauce doesn't look like a two-time all-pro. All of a sudden, they go down the line, especially on defense. The offense, I think, Angstrom is limited. I actually have no issues with him overall. There's some things we can nitpick like any OC, but like it's bad, man. It is. It shouldn't be this bad. Robin says, if AG wasn't a Jet, he would not have been hired, period. I won't go that far. Glenn is qualified to be a head coach. He paid his dues. He was a scout, assistant, coordinator, good
He was
leadership.
a hot commodity, Jake.
Yeah,
he
Saints wanted to
he was
hire
on
him.
everyone's list, and he wanted the Jet job. He was turning interviews down.
Yeah, the one thing I will say is I will not say Glenn wasn't qualified and he only got this job because he's a Jet. Did it help him that he's a former Jet? For sure, but that's also why he wanted the Jets, because that's why I want this to work. I don't want Aaron Glenn to go from beloved former player to a guy associated with coaching ineptitude. Come on. All right, one last call, then the raffle. Cannonball Eric, close us out.
Hey, Jake. This is going to be my only call about Aaron Glenn all year. How I feel about it is if we're picking 1 or 2, then it's time to move on, get an offensive coach, and see what we can do, because you can't trust this regime to draft and develop a quarterback if we're doing this bad. It's not just an 0-5 start. It's how we're losing these games. Like, it's all on the coaching. Fumbles at key moments, penalties at key moments, destroying momentum. We don't know what a touchback is for some reason. Or, players look.
Excuse me, Eric. What does that have to do with Angstrom developing a quarterback? I think the offense looks good early.
Well,
it could. I
wouldn't mind keeping Angstrom around.
I want a young quarterback under Tanner Angstrom at this point. I don't think there's a problem with Angstrom developing a quarterback.
What if Glenn is fired, though? You clean house, your next head coach is like an offensive guy. It's Cliff Kingsbury or Kevin Stefanski, someone like that.
Yeah, but saying we don't trust this regime, like, I have no issue with Angstrom developing a quarterback. I think he's calling.
I don't trust him to make the right pick and build the right team around that
Yeah.
player. So Angstrom might
more
be the
so like
sacrificial
that.
lamb. I agree with Eric.
Yeah,
I just
Angstrom
wanted
looks
to break it
good
down. I don't have
calling.
an issue with Angstrom. You might not trust the Jets as a whole, but I don't know how we can say Muji might not pick the right quarterback. I don't know how we can make that declaration.
Because I haven't seen anything that makes me believe that. Like, Angstrom looks good. I like the plays he's calling, but players still seem undisciplined. We're still making, like, we had 2 fumbles in the red zone. We're not taking touchbacks. So a lot of our players look worse this year than they did last year, even though Aaron Glenn's supposed to be the rah-rah head coach, get everybody fired up. It's more about Glenn and Muji than Angstrom, I'll admit, and Wilkes. Wilkes kind of garbage this year. But if we're only winning 1 or 2 games, I really can't say that the regime did his job well enough to trust them to develop someone young. I want an offensive head coach, preferably someone with experience, who can come in and at least give us a direction. Like, there's no reason why we shouldn't be winning at least like 4 or 5 games. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but a lot of it's on. Listen, the defense is bad, but offensively, we're losing our identity early in the game with horrible turnovers in the red zone.
That's what I'm saying.
92.7% touchdown rate when they hit the red zone. We're at 61%. So
that's exactly what I'm saying
when you get there. And the fumbles have killed us in both games.
I agree, and I think that has to do with the coaching. It has to do with the undiscipline. It's not only that, but you make a conversion and it gets called back because of a hold, or how many false starts do we have, or I mean, we get a lot of calls that are bullshit too. I'm not going to say that we don't, but I think Jake was saying earlier, like that's what happens when you're a bad team. Things don't go your way. Things will snowball out of control. You
You
won't
got to
get the calls
overcome it,
that-
Eric. Yeah,
Yeah.
look at the Patriots, right? Ramondre Stevenson had that brutal fumble in that game on Sunday night on the road. Did it derail them? No, they bounced back. They still won. Coaching.
Look at
Overcome
Trevor
it.
Lawrence tripping over himself, and then he still finds a way to get into the end zone and beat the Chiefs. Like, we don't have that as part of our identity. Our identity is like a failure. And if we're picking one or two, that means that's still our identity. And we got to move on from that.
Well said, Eric. Good call. Now, I do want to show something, too, to highlight coaching. So, Jeff Obrick's the DC of the Falcons, right? They are number one in several key metrics, including number one overall in yards allowed with an average of 244 yards per game. Browns are second with 247.8. Falcons, one of 9 teams in the NFL allowing less than 300 yards per game. For comparison, the Falcons were 18th overall and allowing 335.8 yards per game at this point last season. This is coaching, man. That's why, Aaron Glenn, you're a defensive guy. You better be more involved with your defense because you are allowing Steve Wilkes to wreck this season. By the way, Falcons right now are
Jake, real
6th
quick.
in the NFL in turnovers, which is top 10. Or they forced 6 turnovers, which is top 10. Points allowed, they're slightly above average in that. Like their rushing defenses, they're up in every category essentially. I think that's coaching.
I was told that Ulbrich was horrible as a defensive coach here. The Jet fan narrative was how horrible Ulbrich is. It's amazing that he's
As a head
succeeding
coach.
somewhere.
As a head coach,
I was told Ulbrich was horrible, though, man. It's
he
amazing.
was as a
that-
head coach. He wasn't ready.
but he was calling the defense too.
Right, but he was calling the defense of being a head coach. And what did he admit in his introductory press conference with the Falcons when they asked him what he would have done over? He said, I wouldn't have done both. It was too much.
Correct, but it just
That's what
goes
we're
to show,
talking
man,
about.
how quick we are to cast judgment and want to move on, and guys go elsewhere and succeed.
No. This
I think
just shows you.
I think our fandom of 14 years of pain makes us just want to hit the reset and eject from the pain too quickly.
You don't see there's a difference when you're the head coach and the DC
No,
midway
I
through
do,
the year.
but he's a good coach. Is the point? He is a good coach, and
He's a good
everyone said
defensive
last
coach.
year he
Yes.
yes.
But we knew that. He wasn't a good head coach. He shouldn't have been the head coach. It was a poor move by Woody a year ago today.
Very
Awful
poor
move.
moves.
I
Very.
tried to rally around it. I thought, maybe Salah is that bad. And Obert's ready. I mean, come on. All right. Paul Taxter, thank you. You make it. You're in the raffle for 5. Oh, yeah. Maybe we got to win this week. Wouldn't that be something? All right. I'm counting the raffle names right now. And look, here's the bottom line. You got to be in it to win it. So if you want a chance at any of our prizes, you got to be in it. Today, we're giving away this. It's a signed Joe Klicko helmet. Few last super chats here. Cash Money Mike says, I love my Jets, but thank God I'm a Yankees fan too. Let's go Yankees. It's the only team every year that gives you a chance. They haven't won since 09, which for the Yankees is a very long time, 16 years ago. But they give you a chance.
And nice weather in the Bronx for October too,
100%.
which is rare.
The fact that Oberk had his teams more prepared is almost inconceivable, yet here we are. It's tough to argue with that. I got to see more, man. Oberk had his awful games too. Let's not forget Cardinals game or the Buffalo game, but he should. We know he was bad. Glenn was supposed to be a significant upgrade. He's been worse than Salah so far, who I don't think was a great coach. Eli says Jets by 10. Eli, I really hope you're right, dude. I do, because Eli has been talking about this all week. He has. Nick, what would you do if the Jets won by 10? What are you committed to do next week on the show if that happens?
Celebrate, man. Maybe listen, I don't see it happening, Eli. There'd have to be drastic changes. And if we go and beat Denver by 10, then the waters will calm. Fans can come back to reality and stop all of the hysteria of guys need to be fired. It's 17 games for a reason. You can change the direction at any time. I hope they change it. I hope they win. But as of right now, with what we've seen, I Jets 23-20. Let's go.
By Wednesday, you're picking them to win. Love it.
That's it, man. I'll always pick them to win because I believe that they can correct it. I want to believe that they can do it. Why would we sit down and thinking that they're going to lose? I'm petrified of what Sean Payton's going to do, but I'm going to hope that we can win. I'm going to hope that Breece Hall goes and has a dominant game like he's done against Denver many times. I'm going to hope that he holds on to the ball. I'm going to hope that we get Mason Taylor involved and get a good play action going early on, and that we finish our drives with touchdowns. And we can compete and be in it late. And who knows? Just be in the game come the fourth quarter. I think that would be a good sign of improvement this week. Don't have the self-inflicted wounds. Don't shoot yourself in the foot with fumbles in the red zone. Finish drives. Be competitive. And let's see what we can do. Maybe if we're in a competitive game, then the defense doesn't have to press and make these crazy calls to try to change the game. And we can be a little more consistent and safer on defense to protect from passes downfield. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time.
It's time to announce the winners of the weekly Asmaniac raffle. Let's spin the Jake Asman Show Wheel of Champions and find out which Asmaniac is winning an epic prize.
Here we go, folks. A signed Joe Klecko helmet is up for grabs. If you win, email me your name and address, asmanjake@gmail.com, and we will get the helmet ordered for you. Dun, dun, dun. The winner.
Real quick, before you spin it.
Come on.
Go ahead.
Is it that important?
Jet Life Green said, we haven't seen Henny Jake all season. Not true. The day AVT got hurt, Jake took a swig that day.
Oh, yeah. A depressing Henny swig. You're right.
Yes.
Jet Life also saying, let's win so Jake can take a shot of Henny with me. They win Sunday. I don't care if it will be just after 1 o'clock when we start the post-game show. I'll drink Henny on the air.
You'll sound like Mikey Midnight an hour and a half into that show. We win this game.
Love it. Nick, that was well worth the interruption. All right, here we go. Let's spin the wheel. Someone's going to win a Klecko signed helmet, and the winner is
Mimosa for getting into a fight.
It might be her. You might have called your shot. It is Mimosa. Bang. Mimosa, your winner. Let's go.
Thank you, Mimosa, for your generosity and tremendous support of the Jake Asman Show.
Well done. Nick calling the shot. Mimosa, the winner. Let's go. Second win of the week for Mimosa. She kicked the Cowboys fans' ass at MetLife and got thrown out on Sunday. What a moment.
Good things
what a
can
time.
come from fighting, it seems like.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right. Everyone go subscribe to the Nick Shine Show. I'm going to put the link in the chat. So support Nick. He comes on with us every week and spends time with us and commiserates with us because that's unfortunately how the season has been going. I am back at 3:45 today, starting the show a little earlier because I got to go to the Yankees game tonight to watch the Yankees force a Game 5. So he's Nick Shine. My name is Jake Asman. I want to thank all of you for watching JETS, 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 Jets.
My fellow New York Jets fans, it is about time I come and tell you, consider the fact that the New York Jets continue to give us the same abominable product year in and year out. I'm officially boycotting this fucking franchise. I have chosen to adopt the Indianapolis Colts as my team this year because they're playing very good football. They're listening to their coach. They're not making stupid decisions. There are certain fans of mine that are calling me a traitor, but guess what? I don't care. I'm a grown-ass man. For anyone, including my friend Jake Asman, tough titties. Anyways, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys next time.
Excuse me, I'm sorry, I burped.
Hey, here's the deal. Just got no chance unless you click on that like button. And you got to make sure you subscribe to the Jake Asman Show. You don't, you can get the f*** out. Now let's go, Asmaniacs. We're built for this shit.